at trentovision.tv. The opinions expressed on the following sponsored program are strictly those of the host, guests, and callers, and not necessarily those of this station, its staff, management, or sponsors. Welcome to TrentoVision, where bad ideas get pulverized and the truth will set you free. TrentoVision is hosted by Tom Trento. Tom can be reached at 561-319-5533 or Tom at trentovision.tv. Listen and watch every weekday from 3 to 6 p.m. on AM 1470 WNN and trentovision.tv. Now, let's get a peek at Tom's view of the world. Here's Tom Trento.
Okay, hello everybody. I just got a very nice text from one of our guys up in the Melbourne area, Roger. He hit it out of the park last night. If you're listening, Roger, call us up in this first hour after we do a little introduction here and tell us what happened last night at your presentation on Sharia and all that sort of stuff. Hi, everybody. Tom Trento, trentovision.tv. If you're watching us, WNN 1470 on the radio. No longer dial, I guess. It's kind of buttons. You can push the buttons, and that works pretty well. 1470, and that means if you're driving in your automobile in Palm Beach County, Broward County, Martin County, all those different places, you could hear us. But you know what? We want to retrain your behavior. We're going to do behavioral modification here on TrentoVision. We are going to take you up and away beyond terrestrial radio to digital paradise with
Heart
Radio. Let's do that again with
Heart
Radio. iHeart Radio.
iHeart Radio.
We're going to take you to digital paradise like you've never been taken before.
It really is swell.
Why stay trapped on the terrestrial level of low band waves, low impedances, of static, of blurry sound? Why not elevate yourself to celestial paradise with iHeart Radio? How would they do that, CJ, if they wanted to do that?
They would download the iHeart Radio app on their smartphone and enter WNN. First of all,
our listeners and viewers are smart because they have a smartphone.
As opposed to a dumb phone.
Yeah, so we have smart people out there, and they would download that. Now, there may be some people in the audience that don't know what download means at this point.
Okay, then they would call 888-565-1470, and they would ask to speak to J. Mark Campbell, and he will walk them through the steps like he did for me.
The download guru.
No, and I'll pass them on to CJ so she can walk him down the steps and say, I trained her.
I think Joe ought to do it when he answers the phone.
Joe should do it when he answers the phone. Joe, show him how to download an iHeartRadio app.
Yeah. Ask for Joe when you call 888-565-1470. And he loves to talk to everybody. So just give him a call and say hello.
He especially likes to write down messages for us. So be sure to give him lots of information.
In Joe hand. He does it in Joe hand. It's a little different than shorthand. But you too could be with Joe this Saturday night, 7 o'clock. I will be there. I will be with Joe this Saturday night at the Wellington Amphitheater, Denver and the Mile High Orchestra. Really a very cool group. They remind me of Brian Setzer. And what's the name of his band? Brian Setzer and
Brian Setzer Orchestra.
Brian Setzer
Band or Orchestra. Oh, he was with the Stray Cats, though, wasn't he?
Yes.
Okay, that's right. But it's that kind of...
I guess he got domesticated and put together an orchestra.
Brian Setzer and a domesticated cat.
Denver and the Mile High Orchestra have that kind of very jazzy, upbeat horns, and just fun music, but it's gospel related, but not your old traditional very, very nice. It's going to be outside at the Wellington Amphitheater, 7 o'clock Saturday night. I will be there. Don't look for me. Go find Joe. Leave me alone. Let me watch the thing. No, if anybody's there, I'll say hello and all that stuff. So Friday, but you got to pay a couple of bucks. I think it's $10 or $15 to get in. But if you go back to the end of the fence, there's a little hole that we cut out a couple of years ago. You can climb right underneath there. Oh, no, I forgot I did that when I was a little kid. I don't do that anymore. Actually pay for the tickets nowadays, particularly to a Christian event, you know. So, Tom Trento here, Trento Vision on the 6th. Is it the 6th?
It is.
It is the 6th day of February. And anybody have a birthday out there? We'd like to wish some people a happy birthday.
Okay.
One of them is our friend Ann in Texas.
Oh, okay.
It's Ann's birthday.
Annie, get your gun, Ann.
Then, ironically, another one is a friend of mine who I know for years and years, like a brother, Tony, Mike. It's Tony's birthday today.
Happy birthday, Tony.
Mike, Tony. I'm not going to say.
He's working.
I'm not going to say the last name, but Tony.
Happy birthday, Tony.
Z.
Oh, okay.
There you go. Yeah.
Oh, I know who that is.
Yeah.
Oh,
But
happy birthday.
I will say.
Tony Zulu. Happy birthday, Tony Zulu.
I will say the other birthdays. Take a wild guess whose birthday it is today.
Don't know.
I hate these pop
Who
quizzes.
is the
Come on, a little research would help.
Who is the Messiah? Who is the God, small g, of the conservative movement in America? Who was?
Is there one?
Was.
Newt?
Barry Goldwater.
Was. Better than that.
Ronald Reagan.
Ronald Reagan's 102nd birthday today. But he's outdone by the Babe.
Babe Ruth?
Babe Ruth's birthday today.
Really?
But he's outdone by the Axl. Axl Rose's birthday today. But he's outdone by Tom Brokaw. It's Tom Brokaw's birthday today.
Happy birthday, everybody.
And they're all outdone by Zaza Gabor.
Oh,
I
wow.
remember her.
It's her birthday today.
She's still alive.
She's, I don't know. If she is, I don't think I'd call it alive. If she is alive, I wouldn't use those
That's
terms.
nice.
But she's up there, too. No, a lot of well-known folks. Their birthday, happy birthday to all of you. And if you're just tuning into Trento Vision for the first time, then I don't know if we want to talk to you. If you haven't been, no, we're getting new people all the time. Oh, let me welcome our new partners, the TeaPartyCommunity.com. Hello, everybody. Stop complaining. Hello, everybody. How are you, Tea Party Community? We are we are your doormat to your website, okay? As you enter your website, the homepage, we are the doormat there welcoming you. It's a live doormat telling you about all
you leave out Bob Marley?
Yeah, it's Bob Marley's birthday today.
I think you leave out Bob Marley his birthday.
Yeah, Mon, how
Come
would
on.
you do that?
Forget about him. There's a lot of them. Crystal,
and by the way, the Tea
Crystal
Party
Reed.
Community is the doormat for our website at Trento Vision as well.
there
So
we
it's
go.
an equal opportunity doormat swapping.
Yes, these are good doormats. If you're
Fabian, you forgot Fabian?
Rosa Parks.
Fabian. Oh,
Charles
Rosa Parks. I
Mike
forgot
Farrell
about
from MASH. Mike
Mario
Farrell from MASH.
Andretti, Johnny
no,
Cash.
I didn't see Mario Andretti.
Johnny Cash.
You left out Mario
Rihanna.
Andretti and you call yourself a race
Is
driver?
Mario Andretti's birthday?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Wow.
missed that today.
And Joe has just informed us that Zsa
Gabor
Gabor is 96 years
96,
old today.
okay.
I saw Jackie on there. What was that? Somebody on the line?
That's somebody else.
96.
Ava Braun's birthday today?
Ooh.
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 But wait a
There's-
minute. I'm still hung up on Mario.
Yeah.
I met Mario in the 70s racing. What?
Oh, wait a minute.
How old is
Steve
he?
Jobs,
I bet you-
Abraham Lincoln,
Get outta
George
here.
Washington, Michael
No.
Jordan, Thomas Edison.
Those aren't all today.
I am looking up famous February birthdays.
February, but the 6th.
February
This is a
6th birthday.
birthday,
Okay,
not a birth
I'm
month.
looking this month.
Okay.
Find out Mario Andretti. I don't think it's
not-
today.
It's not today. It's actually later on.
Okay, well, go. I have
I
I
great.
didn't realize you were just doing
I have great help here.
Okay, you know
I'm doing
what?
February 6th. She's the one
Okay.
who spread
She's
the
going all
birthday.
over the place.
Forget
Okay.
about it.
All
You know
right.
what?
Anyway, Welcome to Trento Vision,
you
where we will.
You didn't even bring me coffee. I don't even want to talk to you.
Welcome to Trento Vision, where we our job for 3 hours is to recognize people's birthdays. So we're going to really get into
February 28th.
We're going to get into April in the second hour, and then the third hour will be up to June. So this is.
Well, you started this.
12
you started
minutes
this.
after 3.
I'm exciting radio.
Stuck in this room with you guys for 3 more hours.
This is exciting radio.
This is what we national security is important.
That's right.
Here on the.
Besides brightening your day with birthdays, we also brighten your day with telling you about people who want to kill you. Okay.
I can't believe it's Bob Marley.
And we try to help Americans understand who wants to kill them. And we try to do whatever we can to stop people from killing Americans, whether it's overseas or whether it's here in the United States. And the people in particular we're talking about happen to belong to the Muslim faith and happen to follow Sharia law. And it's these unique individuals that are a clear and present danger to the United States of America. And that means to each of the 320-plus million people walking and running and living in this country, our job is to help keep everybody safe. We do that on an educational, ideological way by outing the Muslim Brotherhood who has infiltrated the White House. And it's real hard to out them when they say we are in the White House influencing your president and nobody can do anything about it. And we also try to educate people to not confirm John Brennan as the head of the CIA in tomorrow's Senate hearings. So tomorrow's 3 o'clock show we will have, I'm doing a little introduction for tomorrow. Tomorrow's 3 o'clock show, we will have former special prosecutor for the Southern District of New York, Andrew McCarthy. He will be Skyped in with us.
Wow.
And Andy is the guy who put the blind sheikh, Sheikh Omar Abdul Rahman. Omar Abdul Rahman. He's enjoying 3 square meals.
And snacks.
And a cot, 3 squares and a cot in North Carolina right now.
I actually saw that. Did you see the special on where he's actually staying at? It's
like a hotel.
It's like a youth camp. It is insane. It's the same place that they sent.
This is crazy.
The Ponzi scheme guy.
Madoff.
Bernie Madoff.
Yeah.
It's just like
Danita was furious yesterday
insane.
with Jesse's. She says that was one of the best shows we've ever done.
Yep. We're going to cut it up and bring out some good excerpts out of that.
And she wants to bring Jesse in to speak at the Tea Party and all that. And Jesse Petrilla was just simply explaining to us how this administration not only has appeased the Taliban in Afghanistan, is collaborating with and surrendered to the Taliban in Afghanistan at a bureaucratic intelligence and military level. The only people that are making any sense are the door knocker downers, the door kickers, the special operators on the ground killing these bad guys. But
and it's just sick. We were talking just to give the people an update of what happened yesterday. It was absolutely a fascinating interview with him. In essence, our troops would risk their lives avoiding IEDs, going out there getting shot at and everything, and captured Taliban bad guys who are actually shooting at them, which is a whole nother issue altogether because they can't shoot at them unless they're shooting at them. But we won't go in that. But they capture them, they arrest them, all right, and they send them back to the prison system, and the prison system just lets them out. It's like a front door, back door, in the front door, at the back door.
But the way they let them out is fascinating. They have an Afghani intelligence officer, an Afghani general who Hamid Karzai made a general overnight, and an Afghani lawyer, all from various tribes, actually tribes where they want, the Pashtuns, where they want to release against the Tajis. And it's the Hatfields and the McCoys. So the whole structure is the Pashtun Taliban, the bad guys, get scooped up, blood on their hands, bombs on their hands. They go through the review board, and the review board says, nah, we don't want to let that one go.
And these are people who says, are you part of the Taliban? Yes.
So in order not to create waves at this point in our departure, our administrative structure there says, okay.
How about the story where the guy came in?
That's just crazy.
Who is the executioner, who is the the head chopper offer.
It's crazy.
For the Taliban.
Yeah.
He's on what is it, the hunt and kill list? What is it, the capture or kill list? He's on the capture or kill list. He walks up to the gate. They said, hey, you're one of the guys for the capture kill list. We're going to arrest you.
Oh, breaking news. Breaking news.
Let me
Go ahead,
finish.
hurry up, break.
It says he's on the capture or kill list right there. And all of a sudden they capture him. They get ready to arrest him. And a colonel comes flying up out of the blue on his Jeep. Oh, you got to let him go. Well, why do you have to let him go? Because he's a witness, and we don't want to make him mad because he's a witness. But he's on the capture kill list. He's a terrorist. He's on the list.
No, it's crazy stuff. Crazy stuff. All right, breaking news right now for immediate release right this second. Washington, D.C. Earlier today, Floyd Lee Corkins II. Floyd Lee Corkins II. Pleaded guilty to 3 charges, including a District of Columbia charge of committing an act of terrorism. The charges stem from the August 15th, 2002 shooting at the Family Research Council headquarters.
Okay.
Today's hearing, just now, Floyd Lee Corkins II. Recently, I had an opportunity to be in the lobby of the Family Research Council. And
you also met the security guard.
I met the security guard who is a hero. He was the building manager there, and what had happened, and this is all public record, and it's a beautiful lobby and right by Chinatown, right by a nice section, beautiful building. They had a guard posted there, not an armed guard, just regular guy. And you come to the front desk, you sign in. Well, this Floyd Lee Corkins II came to the front desk on August 15th at Family Research Council. And that's a pro-family, pro-life, pro-man-woman marriage, all the traditional Judeo-Christian traditional stuff that doesn't matter anymore. They're for all of that. You come in, you sign your name. Well, Floyd Lee Corkins II came in, had a backpack, put it down. And as the receptionist was speaking to him, he went down into his backpack. The building manager was 4 feet away, a very big, husky, black guy, wonderful guy. And he's looking, and it looked kind of odd that Floyd Lee Corkins, who just pleaded guilty today to 3 criminal charges, one of which was an act of terrorism. The building manager, he is not a security guard. He was the building manager. He happened to be there. It just looked odd that he was reaching into his bag. He sees the guy pull up a 9mm gun. He goes to grab the gun. The gun goes off. The bullet goes in his arm here and shattered his bone. When he pulled up his shirt to show it to me the other day, his whole arm was just mangled and big bumps coming out, and he's undergoing all kinds of reconstructive surgery even now. He was shot in his arm. His arm was mangled. He wrestled Floyd Lee Corkins II into a chest where all the awards are, those glass chests.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Smashed
case.
into the trophy case. As they're fighting, 3 more rounds go off. Boom, boom, boom. One of them hit the directory for the building, and the bullet hole is still there. The other one ricocheted off the carpet, and the hole is still left everything exactly the way it is. Ricocheted off there and hit a window frame in the back, and the third bullet went right into the ceiling. And the building manager finally got him under control, fell on top of him, held him down, actually pulled the gun away, had the gun, was going to shoot him and kill him, and this is a Christian organization. And as the building manager told me, he said, Tom, I was going to shoot him, and God told me not to shoot him. That he's subdued, he's down like this with his hands back. He goes, I was going to shoot him, I wanted to shoot him, and just the Lord said, don't shoot him, and he held a gun on him. And then other people came and subdued him.
And this guy's bleeding all over the place.
His arm was complete. He didn't even know he was shot. All the adrenaline. And this isn't a nick. His arm is mangled. If you broke his arm in half and glued it back together, that's what it looks like right now.
The bones are shattered.
Yeah. And there's all steel plates and everything in
Yeah.
there. Well, let me continue with this breaking news here. Today's hearing also revealed in the interview with the FBI right after the shooting that the shooter, Floyd Lee Corkins II, admitted his guilt, which was captured on video. He said he intended to kill as many as possible. He wanted to kill Tony Perkins, General Boykin, all the guys that worked there. Wanted to kill as many as possible and smear the Chick-fil-A sandwiches in the victims' faces. He had 15 Chick-fil-A sandwiches. You know the backstory to why it's Chick-fil-A?
Yeah, but go ahead and tell the story.
And kill the guard. The prosecutors said they reviewed the family computer of Floyd Lee Corkins II and found, oh my word, you're not going to believe this. Where do you think they found the targets that Floyd Lee Corkins II was going after on his computer? They found on Floyd Lee Corkins' computer, on his family computer, found that Floyd Lee Corkins, the shooter, had identified his targets on the Southern Poverty Law Center's website.
Southern Poverty Law Center? Aren't they supposed to be for like human rights or something?
The Southern Poverty, that's the bogus organization that if they don't like you, they list you as a hate group.
And why wouldn't they like you?
Where they list David Barton as a hate group, General Jerry Boykin as a hate person. It's a totally bogus organization.
The day after Floyd Corkins came into the FRC headquarters and opened fire, wounding one of our team members, I stated that while Corkins was responsible for the shooting, he had been given a license to perpetrate this act. This is Tony Perkins, the president of FRC. To perpetrate this act of violence by groups like the Southern Poverty Law Center, which has systematically and recklessly labeled every organization with which they disagree as a hate group.
Sounds like a lawsuit to
me. The nerve of them labeling people they disagree with as a hate group.
Yeah, right. Once you're on, I mean, what are you, is that considered slander, libel? What is it?
Well, let's see.
I mean, what research do they have to back up that the Family Research Council is a hate group?
I don't know.
Just because we don't like you? No.
Well, you know what? Today's both assertions were validated in court as Corkins pleaded guilty to multiple criminal charges, including terrorism. It's 3:24 in the afternoon. And we just got an email, press release.
I actually got a picture of him up there.
Oh, you do? Good.
Yeah.
We just got a release about a shooting on August 15th. Remember in Washington, D.C., it was over the homosexual issue where Chick-fil-A had decided, what was their, it was really an obscure, the owner of Chick-fil-A, that fast food restaurant in a lot of malls all over America, simply said he was not for gay marriage. Chick-fil-A follows all the human rights policies and doesn't discriminate and all of that as a huge corporation, but the owner stated that he personally, as a Christian, is not for gay marriage. As a result, Floyd Lee Corkins II was looking on Southern Poverty Law Center's website for hate groups because apparently he had worked for a gay lesbian organization during the summer as an activist, and he wanted to go kill people who didn't believe in homosexual marriage. So he bought 15...
That sounds very peaceful.
Yes. He bought 15 sandwiches, and his intent was to kill 15 people and rub it in their faces, the Chick-fil-A sandwiches. And he had all kinds of ammunition, and he could have done it, but for this very brave, he's not a security guard. He's the building manager who jumped in. And I asked him, why'd you do that? He goes, I saw that gun. I just jumped in. I didn't even think about it. I just had to do it.
It was just thought.
One of those deals, yeah. He's just this guy's a wonderful guy. I mean, when you talk to him, you can see the love of God in his life, but also
after his devastating injuries, did he ever say that he would do it again or not do it again, or is
I don't know if I asked him that, but he's disabled the rest of his life. That's for sure. His arm will never be the same. He's got numbness and all these things, all that kind of stuff. But he has a smile on his face, and he doesn't regret doing it. Oh, in that sense, he said he would do it again. He's not looking for, he hasn't gone and said, I'm going to be a cop or anything now.
Make sure I get the right guy.
Today, both assertion. I'm talking about the building manager. Today,
that's what I'm trying to put up.
Yeah, today, both assertions, back to the press release, were validated in court as Corkins pleaded guilty to multiple charges, including terrorism. The Southern Poverty Law Center can no longer say it is not a source for those bent on committing acts of violence. Only by ending its hate labeling practices will the SPLC send a message that it no longer wishes to be a source for those who would commit acts of violence, and it goes on.
Well, it's methodology for actually I've looked into the Southern Poverty Law Center's methodology for actually determining who's a hate group, who's not a hate group, and there is no methodology. They actually admit no, there truly isn't. I mean, even the spokesperson of the organization, said they have no methodology to determine who's a hate group, who's a not hate group, or anything like that. And they just, whoever they feel like putting up there and listing, is putting people at danger. And
it's worse than that, because their purpose for doing it in the first place is to scare people and send out fundraising letters and raise a lot of money. And the whole thing is just, it's a scam. It's a fundraising scam.
It is, because they go out there and it says, oh yeah, we're tracking hate in America.
We're tracking down hate groups. We're exposing hate crimes in the United States.
I give you.
And worse than that, they're advising different federal agency departments.
Who's this? The Southern Poverty Law Center.
Yes, so
Southern Poverty Law Center.
Yeah, so if you go to like Homeland Security or something, Homeland Security is working off of SPLC and pulling names and organizations off of the SPLC website and putting them on a watch list for Homeland Security for hate groups and individuals in the United States.
They have absolutely. They talk about they don't even list Muslim terrorism.
No,
as a hate group.
No, there are no Muslim terrorists.
Well, here's how it concludes. Tony Perkins, the president of Family Research Council, says, once again, I call on the SPLC to put an immediate stop to its practice of labeling organizations that oppose their promotion of homosexuality. So the Southern Poverty Law Center, one of the I think the director, I think his guy's name is Morris Dees, not him, but Mark Potok, P-O-T-O-K. I'm pretty sure he's a homosexual activist. He's running the organization. So, there's a homosexual activist running the organization. And then Tony Perkins says, whether the SPLC continues to demonize those who hold to biblical morality or not, the Family Research Council will remain unequivocally committed to our mission of advancing faith, family, and freedom. So we have this organization, self-proclaimed poverty center, that is sort of like the good housekeeping seal of approval for, you're saying, federal agencies and all that regarding hate groups.
Yeah.
So they put a stamp on a hate group. Now, suppose they put a stamp of hate on the United West. What would that mean? Our organization.
If they did.
Oh wait, they did. Oh, isn't that very interesting?
Let me give you a listing here of the different hate groups.
Before you do that, let me tell everybody, if you want to look at our bank account, we have right now a couple $100 in the bank account. Okay, if you want to look at the Southern Poverty Law Center bank account, if anybody wants to look at that, we can actually show it to you. But if you'd like to look at that, 888-565-1470 if you want to call us. If you'd like to know the number, and I will tell you the number that's in the Southern Poverty Law Center's bank account right now. Ready for this, guys?
Yeah.
Everybody ready?
Yes.
How about $2 million?
$2 million bank account?
Oh, did I say $2 million?
No.
I'm sorry. How about $20 million?
That's more like
dollars.
That's more like
no,
that's
there's
closer.
more.
That's closer.
Oh, did I say 20 million? I'm sorry. How about $238 million?
Oh, that sounds closer.
How about $250 million
in funds?
As advertised on the Southern Poverty Law Center, as advertised on their website, they have a war chest of $238 million.
Just sitting
there. What are they doing with that?
Sitting there.
What are they doing with it?
Well, some folks I've spoken to said they're running a hedge fund, a C3, 501c3 hedge fund, is what it is. They have investments all over the world and all kinds of divested interests and all of this. And if you go on their website of the Southern Poverty Law Center,
Are they pleading poverty on their website?
it's so ironic.
Southern
These guys are such
Are they
scumballs.
representing any actual poor people who
They are-
who are actual victims of
You know,
discrimination?
why don't we do this? Why don't we start looking into those guys?
All right.
I think that would be good because they did label the United West about a year ago as a hate group. You're going? Okay, see. They did.
Be careful.
You want to test that thing downstairs?
No.
You test it. I'll call you.
We
Or
tested it.
call
Okay.
me on break and I'll do it.
Okay. We got we're good to go.
Not gonna work.
Hey.
They did designate in their minds and publish that the.
I actually went to try to go investigate of actually how they.
I gotta grab this. You guys take over for a minute.
I actually went and tried
Gary.
to investigate how
Yeah, I'm on the
How
air.
they actually
but we'd like to get you
designated
on,
us
next
as a
hour.
hate group because I was kind of curious.
Yeah, what did we do?
What did we do? Okay,
yeah,
all
what
right,
did we
well,
do
let me
last
see.
year that merited getting
The-
placed on the hate
on
group
the hate group.
list?
So what I did as a test,
Like along with the KKK, for instance.
okay, they say they were in Lake Worth, Florida,
Mm-hmm.
Well,
and
try
we
calling yourself before,
and they
you know,
published
they
their
said
investigative
that's-
findings online at their award-winning Hate Watch blog and intelligence report.
Uh-huh.
Give
So,
me-
okay,
Give me a backup.
so pull the microwave.
give me a backup number.
So they did an investigation on a Hate Watch blog and the intelligence report.
Mm-hmm.
Well, when I actually went to go look what their findings were on us by listing us,
Mm-hmm.
well, first of all, there wasn't even a hyperlink, on us to take us to their investigative findings. So we go do a search on them, and on their hate map,
You're stepping on a cord there or something every time you
Okay.
move the one by your
Alright, that's
foot.
fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
There you go.
Okay, we just booked one of our guests.
okay, so I went to go look on this investigative report. There was nothing there, and then when I came to find out, okay, what's this investigative, an award-winning site? Well, who awarded it? Well, you come back to find out that the SPLC awarded themselves the award for being an investigative journalist.
So there was no actual report
There was no
on
reports,
us
there
at
was
all.
no
It was-
information. I tried to contact them, no findings whatsoever, and
So there's no reason specified for us to be on
no,
there?
none whatsoever. So this guy pulls our name off this list, and he comes over and shoots us because they just willy-nilly, put us on there. Because that's what they did.
Yeah, completely ridiculous. Not only do they do is that their methodology, but their economic engine is it cuts both ways. If they file suit, if they're the plaintiff in a suit, they will file, and they have so much money. They got $250 million. They will file a suit, and it could be a phony baloney. Black lady was discriminated against, and they're going after a city. And what typically happens with those things, they go for about 2 or 3 years, and then everybody settles. Well, that's 2 or 3 years of fundraising for the Southern Poverty
Right.
Law Center.
Exactly.
You bring the black lady, I was discriminated against, and they send out the flyers and they pull the heartstrings of the lefties, and they send $20, and it adds up and it adds up. Now, if they get sued, which they had at times, they just turn around and they're the victim.
Yeah.
Oh, look, they're trying to
They're trying to silence
destroy
us.
us so we can't protect the weak. They are.
So
these
you better
are
send
criminals.
us more money.
These people are criminals. You know.
Well,
In March-
speaking of
here, hold on.
criminals,
Let me
because
con-
I looked up something too.
What?
You know who works for them?
Who?
No.
Bill Ayers.
Yeah, right.
Oh,
I
it's
did
all
know
a big
that.
circle there. And here's the Heidi Barrett, Beirich. She's the director of SPLC's Hate Watch blog, the award-winning Hate Watch blog that the SPLC
Nobody
awarded
knows
I
them
think
with.
we should give ourselves some awards.
Yeah, maybe we should. Hey, Tom,
Yeah.
this is the
We are
award-winning
the-
radio show. Tom, I designate this as an award-winning radio show.
Or we now we determine who is a love organization.
Love organization.
Okay.
Right.
The Trento Vision Show is a love organization.
Well, here's what she said when she was being interviewed. She said, "We do not have a formal written criteria when determining who's a hate group or who's not a hate group. Now, she says, this is how we qualify people as a hate group. This is really funny. She goes, you qualify as a hate group if you treat an entire group of people for their internal characteristics or their inherent characteristics as less, or you demean them in some way.
Okay, well,
so New York Jets fans who demean Miami Dolphins fans are a hate group.
Hate group, yeah.
I mean, according to that, they're kind of generalized guidelines.
Well, they're so general that they are absurd. I just got a text here that the Muslim Brotherhood has infiltrated the Southern Poverty Law Center and its board member. So we are going to have to look into this. That's what we're going to have to do.
Oh, we have another hate group member online.
All right, let's take a call. Who do we have on the line?
We have Bonnie on the line.
Okay. Hi, Bonnie. You're with Tom, CJ, and Mark. How are you today, Bonnie?
Hi, Tom.
How you doing?
Bonnie from Bare Naked.
Mm-hmm. Bonnie is barely naked. Bare Naked Islam runs a blog, and a little bit later, your buddy Chris Logan is going to be on. I think at 4:30. We're going to have Chris on. Logan's Warning.
Okay. About Southern Poverty Law Center, as a fellow member of that hate group list, they get their information from CARE. CARE tells them who to put on the hate group list.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense, particularly if the Brotherhood is involved. You know what I think we're going to do? We're doing our show, and I just got an email, press release from the Family Research Council about the trial that just took place. He pleaded guilty. And SPLC was, you heard what happened. I think we may here at Trento Vision, the United West, do a little peeking into the Southern Poverty Law Center. Would you be up to help us out with that, Bonnie?
Yeah, absolutely. I'd love to get them.
All right, everybody out there, you got to go check out Bonnie's website. Why don't you give the website location?
BareNakedIslam.com. And I have one more thing to tell you about your interview with MD Rabbi Alam. Remember him?
Yeah.
One of my people interspersed charts and speeches and stuff that prove everything you were interviewing him about, and you were so nice to him, and you didn't, challenge him too hard. Well, one of my people put in graphs and videos and things of him just contradicting everything he was telling you. So if you want to look at your video up on my website, you'll see it.
All right, I will check it out. What we are doing here is it's very easy to just smash these guys over the head and throw them off the radio, and they'll never come back.
I know, you're so nice.
Well, no. It's I'll give away the secret. This is a slow roast. We put them in and roast them slowly because I think I know, particularly our audience, they're very astute.
Right.
And to hear this guy, you should see all the emails I got. This guy's doing tequila. This guy's yeah. So and he has agreed to come back on. And he has so much hubris, so much pride that even if we start smacking him around, I think he'll still come back. But most of these guys, you got one shot, unless you kind of just it's like I'll switch the metaphor a little bit from slow roasting to catching a fish. The line is way out, and you got to pull him in slowly. Yeah. So we're trying to maximize the teachable moment with some of these monkeys here.
How do you think he'll get a permit for that kind of demonstration in D.C. on September 11th? Do you think he will?
Oh, absolutely.
Well, first of all, there are 2.3 million Muslims in the United States.
Yes.
Right, not 7 like he said.
No, of course not.
Exactly.
And when he was challenged on that, he said, well, I looked it up somewhere and all that. So he would have to get virtually 50% of all the Muslims in America to make it to Washington, D.C.
I know.
If
he gets 10,000, it'll be a lot, but still, I think that's a huge insult to the country, and I want to organize a counter-protest if he's going to get a permit for that.
I think it's
do that, but I'm going to.
I think he will have an easier time getting a permit than you will.
I'm quite sure.
But
In fact, I'd probably have to do it under somebody else's name because the White House would never give me a permit.
no,
That's
well,
right.
actually, in Lafayette Park across the street there, we can get permits there.
Okay.
But I think I don't know if it's online. You can actually check with it's the D.C. police because it's D.C. property. You can check and see when permits are granted, so you can know who has a permit. It's not that they
Okay.
can hide it from you. So a little bit of research. If you can't find it, let me know. I got the person who can find it.
Okay, great. Thanks a lot.
All right, you take
Do
care,
that.
Bonnie Bare Naked Islam.
And we love your website.
Yeah,
She's
dude,
tough,
she's
man.
great.
Yeah.
She's
Yeah.
fantastic.
Yeah.
Hey, post our show on our new. Hey, did you see our
Oh,
new
you should
YouTube?
talk to her about that.
Yeah,
You
you
should talk to her about
gotta,
that.
give me a call. We got to get the new YouTube live stream on your blog,
Oh, great. Okay.
and it's
Thanks.
you'll love it. You'll love
Yeah,
it.
let me
It's-
know.
Okay,
All
bud.
right,
Yeah.
thanks.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Take care.
Bye-bye, Bonnie.
The here, I wanted to go I just Googled a little bit about the Southern Poverty Law Center. And
Just a little bit, because I got a lot of stuff,
Yeah,
and I don't
real
want to go
quick.
too deep.
It
But I
just
think
had-
we need to really seriously
No,
look
yeah,
into this,
I'm
guys.
just quick, but
Did you
well,
do some work in this thing?
Yeah, well,
No.
yeah. When they listed us, I went back there.
Oh,
did-
that's when
did-
you did it. Okay,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
okay, good.
And when they did the,
I'm making believe I don't know anything about this.
yeah, I know. But the mainstream media, it's also validation
You're so
certification.
slick.
The validation and certification of the SPLC is what's really criminal too. I mean, like for example, this one on CNN on August 17, 2002. Founded on the heels of American civil rights movement,
God.
the Southern Poverty Law Center burnished its name with legal wins over the white supremacist groups and helped integrate institutions like the Alabama State Police. For more than 40 years, the SPLC has battled against political extremism and political violence. An independent group based in Montgomery, Alabama, that monitors racist
Come on, you're
organizations.
nauseating me here.
Well, you know, that's how the mainstream media is portraying these guys.
With $250 million, you hire copywriters, and you can write anything.
And-
Isn't it interesting how Bill Ayers sniffs out money?
Yeah.
He always finds his way to these well-endowed boards. Not broads, but boards.
Yeah.
Okay. Southern Poverty Law Center
Bad guys.
indicted
Yeah.
in a 2 degrees, 1 degree of separation from being now we got to be careful here.
Yes.
Yeah, what's the
There's a
caution?
point to make
What's the
there.
caution?
Okay. We talk about different real enemy groups of the United States here all the time. We post videos about them on our website. Now, some squirrel comes out of the trees and decides that he wants to go shooting up at the offices of one of those groups. That is not something that we advocate.
Right, exactly.
So we would not be responsible for somebody going and shooting up the offices of CARE or something like that.
But a wanton disregard of calling someone is something completely different.
Yeah,
When
I mean,
when
Well,
you have
that
a
is,
one
but still, what
disregard-
this guy did, whether Family Research Council is an actual hate group or not, is besides the point of you don't go in and shoot people.
Right.
Right.
The personal responsibility is where it all ends.
Yeah.
But in terms of, and they view us, I mean, if that happens, if somebody looks at one of our videos and does
Yeah.
crazy things, of course they're going to blame us, all of that. It's still the individual's responsibility. And
But I
even
think-
Tony Perkins said that.
Well,
But I think they're instigators.
Yeah, look at Breivik, you know. You
Yeah.
know, on his. And,
Mhm.
you know,
Yeah, there's Breivik, yeah. But these guys are definitely trouble, the Southern Poverty Law Center.
Oh, and what really makes me sick about it is really how the mainstream media validates their credentials. That's what just drives me. And I'm talking about major entities,
Well,
and they bring them up.
I'm looking at the clock here, and I got some stuff to get out
okay,
before
okay.
the next hour here. Any 501c3 that is sitting on $250 million,
Yeah.
red
Yeah.
flags,
Red flag,
okay?
right.
Yeah.
So we'll look into that.
Yeah.
And they proudly publish it. But here's the who are we? What are we doing? Tom Trento, CJ, Mark. Mike is on assignment. We may see from him in a little bit. You see, because we're dealing with national security issues, and in that context, in the context of national security issues, we always bump into somewhere, somehow, some way, Israel. Israel somehow is in the center of everything national security and global security.
Why is that, Tom?
Why is that? And you can take it down even further to this little piece of dirt in the middle of Israel, Jerusalem. But right now, around the world, but in particular in the United States of America, it is Israel Apartheid Week. Israel Apartheid Week. And in our work on national security, and we do a lot of it through theunitedwest.org. Go take a look at our website there, theunitedwest.org. Trento Vision is the communication hub for the counter-jihad movement in America and some conservative elements of it. To our Tea Party community friends, we say hello. The Southern Poverty Law Center doesn't like you guys, so we stand there with you. But right now, even for the Tea Party folks, many of whom are true Zionists supporting Israel, it is Israel Apartheid Week. CJ, what is apartheid?
Apartheid. Let me read you the dictionary definition
Sure.
of apartheid. Racial segregation, specifically a former policy of segregation and political and economic discrimination against non-European groups in the Republic of South Africa.
Okay.
Yeah.
Israel Apartheid Week. We're going to talk about that the remainder of this hour. Next hour at 4:15. Gary F. I won't say his last name yet. No, I mean he's published. Gary Faust. He published this publicly. Gary Faust works with us with the United West, and he's stationed. He lives in Southern California. He teaches at the University of California at Irvine. He's a good friend of ours. We've done much with him through the years. 2 days ago, he was at the University of Irvine, University of California at Irvine. This is, University of South Florida, USF, University of South Florida. Mark and CJ's alma mater is Jihad U.
Jihad
Yeah.
U.
One of the Jihad U's, probably the main
Yeah.
one in Florida.
Yeah, definitely
In California,
Florida.
the
Yeah.
main one is UCI, University of California at Irvine. And Gary Faust teaches there. And he was at a Israel Apartheid Week lecture 2 nights ago. Captured some video. Are we going to be able to show everybody the video?
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah. What about the Gary confrontation?
We'll catch it on the break.
Okay. We're going to show you 2 little pieces of video that are fascinating, and we're going to have the guy who shot this video on at 4:15. At 4:30, Christopher Logan, who, if you want to go check out his website, loganswarning.com. Christopher Logan will be here, and he is a hardcore, New York, he talks like that, hardcore New York counter-jihad warrior. He'll be here talking about what's going on around the country right now. And right here in South Florida, right in Boca Raton at Florida Atlantic University, as we speak, mere miles from us. How far is that? 3 or 4 miles?
Yeah.
From where we are?
Yeah, you could walk there practically.
There are lectures, demonstrations, protests against Israel for being an apartheid nation, for discriminating against and occupying Muslim land. And why is this important? This is critically important. Guess who just visited Egypt? What president of what dangerous country that's building a nuclear weapon
Iran.
just visited President Morsi in Egypt?
Yeah. Well, they've been
Mahmoud.
exchanging visits with each other since right before 9/11, actually.
We have
Best
it.
buds now.
Everybody,
Yeah.
everybody knows that we have our
BBS.
we have our hands in the intelligence world, and I've gotten some inside information. They've been Morsi and Ahmadinejad have been sexting each other.
BFS. They're BFS.
They've been sexting each other, or texting. I mean texting.
Same thing.
Texting?
Same
Texting,
thing.
maybe sexting. I
Same
don't know.
thing.
Texting. No, they're down to texting now. They are BFFs.
They are BFS. Yeah.
Think
Yeah.
about that.
Do they tweet each other?
They may. They may be tweeting each other. It's not uncommon for some of them Arabs. Oh, but wait. The Iranians are Persians. They're not Arabs. They despise
right.
Arabs.
Yeah.
And the Shia despise the Sunni.
Yeah.
The
So
Egyptians.
I guess that if it comes down
does
to
that
it,
work?
there's really only one thing they have in common.
Common.
Yeah.
They really hate them pesky little Jews.
They hate
Israel. They
Jews.
hate Jews. Okay, so we have Jew hatred going on at Florida
Yes.
Atlantic University right now. I think, guys, and I want you to think about this as we go into the break. I think I've discovered a way in which we can You know how hard it is to get the left. They're big champions of human rights and of civil
they're not.
rights.
Oh yeah, they're
Well,
huge. They're huge.
Just go along with me. They're big champions of civil rights and human rights. And you ever see? I mean, they're even if you have like the turtles on the beach.
Right.
I mean, oh God, the turtles. The Haitians love the turtle eggs, the loggerhead turtle eggs. They're
Right.
aphrodisiacs. And the lefties are always, leave the turtle eggs alone.
Unless
and
they're
in fact-
Jewish turtle eggs.
And in fact, they are those loggerheads are nationally. They're a federally endangered species.
Okay.
And the left, if you go through the Federal Endangered Species Act and look at, now it's going to be a wolverine that's going to be on there, the whooping crane, and there's various plants, and the left is always just goes bonkers over the support and protection of the human rights of plants and of turtle eggs. Why don't we start a petition? This is how we win the left to our side. Why don't we start a petition and move to have all Jews listed on the Federal Endangered Species Act?
Oh my gosh, that's awful.
I
you
will
know what?
read-
That reminds me of a really funny story.
I will read you the Federal Endangered Species Act.
And we qualify?
You guys qualify. Now, watch what happens. You could even get some land out of the deal, right?
Oh no,
God.
don't
Protect-
get into land issues with me, please.
Land and Jews area.
But if we make Jewish people an endangered species in the United States, we have
Yeah.
all the lefties on our side now.
Right.
They would
Yeah.
just come right, unless they're hypocrites.
Unless
They're
Yeah.
hypocrites.
Okay, the ultimate lefty human rights story. PETA, I remember like in 2004, somewhere around 2004. Remember when they were having a lot of suicide bombings from the West Bank into Israel before they put up the security fence? So the head of PETA wrote a letter to Yasser Arafat complaining about the suicide bombers going into Israel because they were going in on donkeys. And the donkeys were blown up by the suicide bombers who were out to kill the Jews in Israel. So she didn't have a problem with the suicide bombers killing Jews in Israel.
They had a problem-
What bothered her was that there was a donkey harmed in the making of this production.
So then, all they blew up their ass. They blew up their ass. Right?
Yes.
Well, there's ass
And that
protection.
pretty much sums up the left and
Yes.
Jews for me.
Asses protect asses
Yeah.
is the way that goes. And the biblical admonition for here, everything can be found in the Bible. When the two children, Isaac and Ishmael, are separated, the blessing or the pronouncement that goes with Ishmael, and the family of Israel came out of Isaac, the nation of Israel. But if you talk to Muslims, no. Everything came out of Ishmael. They just turned the Bible upside down. But the pronouncement that goes, it says, you and your men will be as wild asses all of your lives.
Mm-hmm.
That's the biblical pronouncement for the Muslim community. And that seems to fit.
I kind of agree with you on that one.
Seems to
From the
fit
Unitarian
Don't tell me
perspective,
there's
I'll
no
go.
prophecy in the Bible,
Yeah, well,
Mark.
stay tuned.
I'll give you a check mark on that one from the Unitarian
That
side.
one works. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
The opinions expressed on the preceding sponsored program were strictly those of its hosts, guests, and callers, and not necessarily those of this station, its staff, management, or sponsors.
We all share a common journey. We wanted to serve our country, stand for something bigger than ourselves, and protect the things we love. Although we were ready to face any mission, help those in need, and make a difference. For some of us, coming home was more of a challenge than we expected. In the service, we had each other's backs. But as veterans, it can sometimes feel like we're all alone, even when surrounded by our loved ones.
If you're a veteran or service member in crisis or know one who is, call 1-800-273-8255 and press 1. Chat at veteranscrisisline.net or text 838-255.
Tune in for laughs and surprises with The Boca Show. Sundays at 4, only on 1470 WNN.
Kids have the craziest ideas about food. Where do they get this stuff? Like eating Brussels sprouts helps you hit home runs. And eating carrots gives you X-ray vision. It's nuts. And I honestly have no idea where my daughter got this notion that broccoli is the official food of professional ballerinas. Kids, the only reason my 4-year-old loves cantaloupe is because he's convinced it comes from the moon.
One small step for man, lots of potassium for mankind.
And the other day when my oldest came up to me and said, "Mom, will eating peas and carrots really help me pull off a fakey frontside ollie with a twist?" I look him in the eye and say, "It can't hurt, honey. It can't hurt."
Moms everywhere are finding creative ways to help their kids eat 5 servings of fruit and vegetables a day. Get ideas, get involved, get going at letsmove.gov. Brought to you by the USDA, HHS, and the Ad Council.
This is Health and Wealth Radio, AM 1470, WWNN Pompano Beach, and WKIS HD3, Boca Raton, Miami, Fort Lauderdale.
In the last decade, more than 400,000 people died on America's roadways. That's one person every 13 minutes. Roadway deaths strike the young or old at any time of the year, at any hour of the day or night. And it doesn't matter whether you drive a car on a highway, ride a motorcycle or bicycle on a country road, or simply take a walk near traffic. Everyone is at risk. Since 1969, members of the American Traffic Safety Services Association have worked diligently to make our nation's roadways safer by providing the majority of roadway safety features, including bright signs and pavement markings, guardrails, and crash cushions. These are just some of the roadway devices that save thousands of lives each day. Since most of our roadways were built in the 1950s, there's so much more work that needs to be done to reach the ultimate goal of 0 deaths. Safer roads save lives. To learn how you can get involved, visit atssa.com. A public service message from the American Traffic Safety Services Association.
IRN USA Radio News, I'm Hope Duggar. 2 Republicans in Congress are calling it a common sense move. Congressman Darrell Issa of California and Senator Tom Coburn of Oklahoma are supporting the decision by the U.S. Postal Service to end Saturday mail delivery as of August. Congress has consistently voted to prevent the post office from ending the Saturday mail service, but others who follow the agency's financial troubles are saying it didn't have much choice. The move is aimed at saving about $2 billion a year. The White House says President Barack Obama will not be unveiling a specific new peace proposal when he visits Israel this spring. Officials announced yesterday that Obama would travel to Israel, the West Bank, and Jordan, raising the possibility the U.S. would launch a new push to revive the stalled peace process. But White House spokesman Jay Carney says that's not the purpose of the trip. He says Obama's visit is timed to coincide with the start of new terms for Obama and for Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. This is IRN USA Radio News.
If your thinning hair is as recent as 8 to 12 years, a high percentage of your follicles may still be alive. The European Breakthrough Program protects and directly supports the health and strength of these follicles. Most products target the symptoms of thinning hair, but don't actually target the cause of the loss, which is a buildup of DHT in the follicle. Remove the DHT, keep it off, the follicle heals. Simple. This is what Kevis does and why it is a healing agent versus a stimulant. Imagine over 50% back naturally. We're so confident you'll love Kevis. Call now and we'll give you a free 1-month supply. No commitments or strings attached. Call 800-245-HAIR. That's 800-245-HAIR. 800-245-HAIR, or go to iwantmyhair.com. That's iwantmyhair.com.
As he winds down his Pentagon tenure, Defense Secretary Leon Panetta is warning of big damage on several fronts if Congress doesn't find a way to avoid huge spending cuts. Here's correspondent Sagar Magani.
This is not a game.
Panetta says both the economy and national security are on the line if lawmakers don't reach a deal, and he hammered them for appearing willing to send the nation off the fiscal cliff for purely partisan reasons.
This is a kind of so what attitude that says, let's see how bad it can get in order to have the other party blink.
Telling a Georgetown University audience that's no way to govern a country.
At least 4 people are missing and presumed dead after a powerful earthquake off the Solomon Islands in the South Pacific generated a tsunami up to 5 feet tall. The quake, with a magnitude 8, has been followed by dozens of aftershocks. Disaster officials have been struggling to reach the remote area. For the latest news and analysis, log on to IRNUSAnews.com.
At Grainger, we understand running a facility means wearing a lot of hats. 1 minute you're replacing a condenser fan motor, the next you're swapping out fluorescent bulbs. That's why we offer over 900,000 products in 31 product categories, many ready right when you need them, from HVAC equipment to safety supplies. Whatever you need, even if it's a new hat. Yeah, we've got those too. To help keep your business running efficiently, call, click Grainger.com, or stop by a branch today. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Planets that are similar to our own may be closer and more plentiful than anyone had imagined. Astronomers are reporting today that the closest Earth-like planet may be just 13 light years away. The planet has not been found yet, but the astronomers figure it should be there based on their study of red dwarf stars. The team from Harvard estimates that 6% of those stars have planets like Earth. New Jersey Governor Chris Christie is lashing out at a former White House doctor who said she worries about the governor dying in office because he is so heavy. Former White House physician Connie Mariano made the comment in an interview with CNN. The Arizona doctor says she'd like to see Christie run for president in 2016, but that he needs to lose weight. She worries he could have a heart attack or stroke. The Republican governor said today that unless Mariano gives him a physical exam and takes his family history, quote, she should shut up. The Boy Scouts of America's National Executive Board is delaying a decision on whether to lift a long-standing ban on gay scouts and leaders. Correspondent Ed Donahue has this report.
The Boy Scouts now say the organization will take action on the resolution at its national meeting in May. Last week it said it was considering a shift in policy. One idea being considered was to let each troop sponsor decide whether or not to allow gay leaders and scouts. President Obama is honorary president of the Boy Scouts. He supports admitting gay scouts. But others are opposed. Protesters on both sides rallied at Scout headquarters near Dallas. I'm Ed Donahue.
And with IRN USA Radio News, I'm Hope Duggar.
Happy, healthy, and wealthy. Follow the American dream. On South Florida's AM 1470 WNN.
Here's some great news from Tom Trento, host of the daily WNN Trento Vision Show. Due to the unparalleled success of the Trento Vision Show, you now have an amazing opportunity to advertise on the Trento Vision Show. If you want more information about this excellent opportunity for your business, please contact Tom Trento at 561-319-5533, or you can email him, tom@trentovision.tv. The opinions expressed on the following sponsored program are strictly those of the host, guests, and callers, and not necessarily those of this station, its staff, management, or sponsors. Welcome to Trento Vision, where bad ideas get pulverized and the truth will set you free. Trento Vision is hosted by Tom Trento. Tom can be reached at 561-319-5533 or tom@trentovision.tv. Listen and watch every weekday from 3 to 6 p.m. on AM 1470 WNN and trentovision.tv. Now, let's get a peek at Tom's view of the world. Here's Tom Trento.
Oh, the Protestants hate the Catholics, and the Catholics hate the Protestants, and the Hindus hate the Muslims, and everybody hates the Jews. But during National Brotherhood Week, National Brotherhood gets.
Everybody
Did
hates
they hear
the
that?
Jews.
Did they hear that? Because
he
it
was
went.
playing.
He
No,
was
he was
playing it before the.
Yeah,
Okay.
he was playing. We had it worked out. Yes.
I want to make sure nobody missed it.
And well, can you replay that so no one missed it? Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see that. We're going to replay our intro for the second hour, which is so appropriate. So very appropriate. So very, very appropriate. So very, very appropriate. Is he playing it?
No, he's.
Are you playing it?
You got cue. That's Tom Thompson.
All
Tom
the Protestants hate the Catholics, and the Catholics hate the Protestants, and the Hindus hate the Muslims, and everybody hates the Jews. But during National Brotherhood Week,
National Apartheid Week.
National
Yes, it's National Israel Apartheid Week is what it really is here in South Florida. Actually, all over the United States of America. As we said, hi, Tom Trento. WNN 1470 on your radio. You're just tuning in as you're driving around. I don't know. I was up the north part of the county the other day. Heard the signal beautifully. If you're down in Pompano, Fort Lauderdale, you're listening to National Security Radio, where we make jihad fun. You got to be able to laugh at yourselves because it shows that you have a sense of true humanity. Unlike some folks we know, where laughter is
it's actually against Sharia law and punishable by severe punishment.
See, how could you folks be a Muslim? Really, just think about it. Particularly if you live here in the United States, there's so much fun and life and vibrancy and bikinis on the beach. Oh no, I must cover my eyes. Oh no, cover the girl because I don't want to sin. Cover her in a bag, and that's the way we're supposed to live as human beings. Right?
Art, do you think Muslims are allowed to go to Disney World?
You got to blow it up.
Well, you see, here's the problem. When they're in the West, they it's so difficult to not assimilate into the beauty and wonder. Now, all of us, because we're very serious religious people too, Jews, Christians. I don't know about the Unitarian guy, but the other stuff, we recognize the sense of morality and all of that, and we recognize the degradation in society and the slipping away ethically, morally. We understand that. The solution isn't to blow up society, it's to change the hearts and minds of people. And you do that through persuading them. But because your message of Islam is so weak, you have to use the force of the sword to change the minds of people. That's not humane. It's not human. It's animalistic. Enter... I gave a speech in Paris a year and a half ago, and I was inviting Muslims as Muslims invite others to Islam. If you saw Osama bin Laden, he would invite people to Islam before he blew them up. Islam has three opportunities for the kafir, the infidel, the unbeliever. One is to accept Allah and to convert to Islam. The other, if you don't want to do that, it's okay. You don't have to believe, but you got to submit, because not only are we a religion, Muslim speaking, we are a nation. So you don't have to believe the way the nation does, but you have to behave the way the nation does. So you submit your behavior to the national dictate, which is Sharia law. Or the third option, if you don't want to believe and you don't want to behave, you get beheaded, okay? There's your alliterated 3 B's of Islam. Believe, behave, behead. And that's the way the system has to work, but it goes against the way humanity is. You have to be able to laugh at yourself and enjoy life. So all of you out there are Muslim friends, and we don't hate Muslims. That's not the issue at all. We don't like the ideology of Sharia-compliant Islam, and we will fight that, and we do fight that, but logically and intellectually and emotionally even. What we're doing today, though, is saying when you have a week, and it really goes on longer, where you focus on hating Jews, which is an endangered species. I mean, if you really think about it, and you look at the Federal Endangered Species Act, and the way a nation has come together to protect tiny, tiny populations of plants and insects and animals, And we see a class of humanity. There's only 14 million Jewish people in the world, 6 or 7 here, 6 or 7 in Israel, and 1 or 2 million spread about, 14 to 16 million. In relationship to 1.3 billion Muslims, and then if you were to, and let me ask my Muslim brothers and sisters, how do you account for the fact, it's rigged, Trento! How do you account for the fact that Jews over the past 100 years or so have won about 130 Nobel Prizes for every category of academics, peace, everything else, and Muslim, and that's 14 million people, and 1.3 billion. The Islamic world has about 4 or 5 or 6 Nobel Prizes, and the world hates Jewish people. The difficulty is you can't, if someone invents something that changes the whole world, it's very difficult not to recognize that and acknowledge that. So how does Islam account for the fact that you have $1.3 billion and 1.3 billion Muslims that are spending $1.3 billion a day, many of your sheikhs with golden Mercedes and changing the trees in the driveway every day, and doing all your Sharia stuff in your country, then flying to Las Vegas and
running around with blondes.
Yeah, it's such a scam, you know. Just, but our point right now is Israel Apartheid Week, where there's Jew hatred on college campuses all over. In a couple of minutes, we're going to have Gary Faust from University of California, Irvine. And then we will have for you folks streamed in live. We think we can. From Florida Atlantic University, we're going to stream in one of the lectures against Israel as it is playing out right now. We have some of our people over there, and through the technology of very expensive equipment, an iPhone, we're going to try to make this happen. But is Gary with us by any chance yet?
Nope. Not
yet. Okay. He'll call in a couple of minutes. So you're Jewish, CJ. What do you think of Israel Apartheid Week?
What, do you have to be Jewish to have an opinion on it?
I got an opinion on it.
You almost sounded Jewish then.
Yeah, I know.
What?
I did
you
it
have
like
an
that.
opinion on it?
Yeah. Well, what's your problem? What's your problem with Jews? What's your problem with Jews?
I did it like that on purpose. I answered a question with a question.
Oh, you.
And that's difficult. Oh, what a surprise that is.
You Jews, I don't know. You Jews. Oh, man.
Well, I got an opinion on the apartheid.
All right, what is your opinion?
Going back to your definition of apartheid, it's completely insane. I mean, I've actually visited Israel. It is the most non-apartheid state in the universe. It's got every culture, everything. It's even in the government. They have Arabs, they have Muslims, they have Sharia-compliant Muslims. They have
They
it all.
fund Sharia compliance.
They fund Sharia compliance. They are so far.
Look, the point
off the chart.
is, when it comes to, and I'm not even calling it anti-Semitism because that's too squeaky clean for what it is. Let's call it Jew hatred, and you can call it, we just don't like the politics of the government of Israel, but it's Jew hatred. This kind of venom.
Oh, it is. It's pure Jew hatred.
It's pure Jew hatred. So.
And now,
reality and rationality have absolutely nothing to do with it.
Do you think these universities, campuses, would allow Nazi week for Israel, must be destroyed week? Do you think these college campuses will allow that on their campuses?
They already are allowing it. They are allowing because you've been to these campuses during Apartheid Week, and they advocate for the eradication of the Jewish people, not just
the state, but the
not
Jewish
just
people.
the state of Israel.
It's pure
they call for
genocide.
the eradication, genocide of the Jewish people.
Now, I don't care what your issue
So the
is.
universities are very definitely advocating.
I don't care if you do not know anything about Islam, anything about Muslims, anything about
This
the
is
whole,
a cause of the left.
Right.
The left aligning.
Yep. Yeah, with just pure, just
Somebody,
evil hatred.
And it's just like the song that we heard at the beginning of the show, and everybody hates the Jews. It's like the one thing that brings together all these different groups who ought to be killing each other, but they'll come together because the one thing they all have in common.
Somebody wrote on our social stream on Trento Vision. You can do that. We invite you to go there and chat away. Somebody wrote, Muslim is suing Disney because they objected to her wearing her hijab whilst working there. Whilst. Must be somebody from England.
Yes.
Whilst working there. Oh, I remember that story. So
I
that's
remember
going
that too. Another shakedown.
But somebody else wrote, Tom is a mine of information. Amazing guy. Hey, all right, way to go, whoever's writing that stuff. Shared. Here we go. Now, do we have Gary with us? Gary Faust,
Yes,
are
we
you
do.
there?
Hi, Tom.
Hey.
Hi, Gary.
Hi.
That's CJ. You're with me, Tom, and you know Mark. You've met Mark. How you doing, Gary?
I'm doing fine. Thank you.
Good, good. Gary Faust, ladies and gentlemen, is from, he works at the University of California at Irvine. And Gary spent, I don't know, three or 4 years in the U.S. Army as a military cop in Europe. He's worked as a U.S. customs agent, traveled around the world. He has written several books, and you're teaching right now at UCI, aren't you, Gary?
Yeah, I am. That's my retirement job. Actually, I was in customs a couple of years, but the rest of my career was with DEA. I'm actually retired from DEA now. But I've been teaching part-time at UC Irvine for about 14 years.
So DEA, Drug Enforcement Agency, that's where you spent most of your career.
Correct.
Okay, good. Hey, can you score any good pot out there in California for us, or what?
Sorry?
You can go buy it.
Well, what do you think of the new, before we get into the real stuff, the new laws of Colorado, and I think, was it Oregon? Legalizing marijuana use. What are your quick thoughts on that as a former DEA agent?
Oh, well, I think well, first of all, I think use and one thing is another. As a federal DEA agent, we never got involved with users of drugs, only with dealers and traffickers of drugs. But I think they're just inviting a lot of new residents that they probably otherwise would rather not have.
Yeah. Well, man, we should do a show on that sometime. I think we will with you, because you've been around the block on that. We have some other friends who are DEA agents. But you went around the block 2 days ago with Omar Baghiati, or Bagauti. How do you say
Barghouti?
Barghouti.
Yeah, Barghouti, yes. He spoke at UC Irvine Monday night.
All right, just give us a 30-second lead-in into who he is. We're going to play the clip about him referring to pink-washing in Israel. Then you can come back, explain. We'll come back, explain that. Then we're going to play the clip of you confronting him. So tell us who this guy is.
Okay, he's an Arab. He's born either in Kuwait or Qatar. I'm not sure which. And he grew up in Egypt. And he's educated. He's been educated at Columbia University. He's basically a Palestinian activist who now is actually studying at Tel Aviv University, even though he goes around the world, trying to basically discredit and basically destroy the Israeli state.
Yeah, he's probably getting a scholarship funded by the government for that.
Yeah, but he's one of the principal leaders of the BDS movement. And that's what his
BDS.
topic was.
Define BD.
Boycott, divest, sanctions against Israel, in which they try to go after any entity or company that's doing any kind of business with Israel. They're basically trying to destroy Israel economically.
Okay. All right. So basically, Muslim Brotherhood type bad guy, correct?
Oh, I would say so.
Okay.
I don't know of his Muslim Brotherhood associations, but he lives in the West Bank. I believe he lives in Ramallah. I believe he's Muslim. But even though he studies at Tel Aviv University, he's kind of biting the hand that feeds him. And he's also said, he said some uncomplimentary things about America being racist and everything, even though we gave him his education as well.
Sure.
Which I find very offensive.
Yeah, listed on the internet, it says he was born in Qatar and grew up in Egypt. But let's. Are we ready for him yet?
Give me 1 minute.
All right, we're gonna take a look at a little. He did a presentation, and you shot some video. Those videos are they on the internet now?
Yes, I posted them on my blog.
Why don't you give that out if people want to watch them? There are 4 of them. They're about 20 minutes apiece. And really, if you can sit down and watch this whole thing, I mean, you're getting a beautiful look at a Muslim Brotherhood type. My guess is he's wrapped up in the Brotherhood because they're very concerned about the BDS, boycott, divestment, and sanctions movement against Israel in the United States. What's your website where people can contact you and go look at these videos?
Okay, it's the name of the website is Faust Squawk, but the site is http Gary Faust GaryFouse .blogspot.com.
Okay, if that's too much for everybody, contact me, Tom, at TrentoVision.tv, and I will send you to Gary's website. He writes on these issues, and just a good, all-around good guy, good friend, and a strong counter-jihad warrior. You ready? All right, here we go with Omar.
To use its relatively higher gay rights compared to Arab countries. Another aspect of BDS in this country is the struggle against pinkwashing. Israel's attempt to use its relatively higher gay rights compared to Arab countries for sure, to claim that because we have better gay rights, why are you boycotting us? They're trying to win the queer movements around the world to say, at least you should not boycott Israel, because Israel has better queer rights. Several queer activists in this country, including the very famous Sarah Schulman, who happens to be Jewish, one of the most prolific writers in the queer movement in this country, wrote an article, an op-ed in the New York Times, where she exposed Israel's pinkwashing, which is whitewashing using queer politics, to hide, to cover up its violations of Palestinian rights. The main argument is that, so what if you have better gay rights? You're committing violations of human rights. Queers are human, first and foremost. They care about human rights. You can't have better queer rights while suppressing an entire nation and denying them of all their rights. South Africa under apartheid had better gay rights than the rest of Africa put together. Did that exonerate it? Did that justify its apartheid system? Absolutely not. This is what queer BDS activists have been struggling with.
That was an epithet to call someone queer.
Oh man, them queers! Let me tell you about them queers.
Them queers over there.
Hey Tom, when you and I were growing up, that was the worst epithet you could throw at a gay person, was it not?
Yeah, that was not a nice thing to call somebody.
Making a comeback. I suppose in 25 years, the F word will be in fashion.
Yeah, it'll be in fashion. I heard you. I heard you in there. Yeah, tell us what happened. Go ahead. Take the floor and tell us what happened. Gary, go ahead. Go tell us what that was all about, and then we want to show you another piece.
You know, I couldn't really decipher listening in the background there, and I'd have to go back. But he was trying to downplay the fact that Israel, has, gays in Israel have rights and, are recognized. And then he goes off on this queer stuff, and he kept saying queer this and queer that. And as you heard me whispering to my partner next to me, and when I was a kid, that was an epithet, okay? And secondly, what's going through my mind is, well, gee, how are gays treated in the Islamic world? Homosexual acts are punishable by death under Sharia law.
Yep, absolutely. But we thought, and the guy spoke for 50 minutes. But we thought that one little section where he either his venom and vitriol for gay people, is manifested in the term queers and queer politics and all this, or he's so super hip because a lot of homosexuals are using that term now about themselves.
Yeah.
Or he just doesn't understand American culture at this point, using that.
That's one thing that really jumped out at me when he was talking about Martin Luther King and the civil rights movement and throwing in these terms American racism. He showed a cartoon on the board with 3 characters, one person pointing at a black guy saying, go back to Africa, the next one pointing at a Mexican, go back to Mexico, and the third, I think, was, I forget, it was something to do with Arabs or Muslims, I forget, but he started talking about American racism, and that really raised my feathers. because he doesn't understand the history of the civil rights movement and how this country has changed over the years. You and I have grown up and lived through it, and I take particular offense at that.
All right, now, Gary, we're going to show everyone on TrentoVision.tv on the internet, and for those of you driving who cannot see it, you can catch the archive, I think, maybe. We're working, I should say that now, we're working on Trento Vision website, putting up a new one that will have all the archives. They're not quite there yet.
Actually, the best way to go find it right now, because every show that we do is actually up on YouTube under the United West. That's where everything's going right now.
Google, YouTube, and the United West, and you'll find our channel.
You don't have to Google it. Just go to YouTube.
www.youtube.com/the
United West. Okay. Go there, and you can have all these things. All right, now let's show Gary. After the 50-minute speech by Omar, they open it up for questions, and Gary Faust, who is our guest right now, you'll see him on the video. He jumps up, and for all of you out there who want to bring attention to the truth at these bizarre Jew hatred meetings, Gary did exactly what you're supposed to do. Watch very carefully. It is a lesson in how to disrupt, disable, destroy their whole propaganda campaign. Let's roll this.
Just to be clear, you were born in Kuwait or Qatar? How's that relevant? I'm just asking. Is that relevant? I think it's relevant. You were born in one of them, and you were raised in Egypt, correct? What's your question, sir? Okay, and I'm getting to it, okay? And yet you're a student at Tel Aviv University in Israel, correct? And you studied at Columbia University in California too, right? Is that all true? Get to the question, please.
It should be a single question. That's it. I said that very.
You, sir, are the colossal hypocrite.
That's extremely.
I've seen a lot of hypocrites come into this campus here. Let me finish, okay? Because I am going to get to a question. You are a hypocrite, sir. You don't understand American history when you try to compare the United States civil rights movement to your crap here. You are an arrogant man, and
if you're unable to argue logically,
I can argue with you, but you won't answer my question.
We heard it.
You sit down. We have an officer out there.
We can't hear you.
Atomic attacks are not arguments. Learn to ask questions or give
My
arguments.
Trento just
No
went
atomic
down.
attacks. Go ahead. Listen.
Yeah, we heard it.
Yeah,
it didn't play over the thing. I didn't.
Oh, that's okay. Gary, tell everybody what happened there. I'll let you explain it.
Well, okay. Well, I should throw in, and it's not in the videotape, that just before he got up, the MSU guy, SJP guy, said no videotape was allowed.
Yeah.
And we said, I didn't stand, but I was in the front row, and I said, no, I'm sorry. That question was settled here at UCI years ago when Chuck Bohr, a local politician, was told not to videotape. This is a public university, public event, and we have every right to videotape. And at this point, he said, well, there's a campus policeman outside. Why don't you go consult with him? I said, no, you go talk to him. And if he wants to come in and tell me not to videotape, fine. But in the meantime, I'm going to videotape. And that was that. As far as when I got up to, I was trying to lead him into the point that here he is, having already studied at our university in Columbia, which I don't know why I said Columbia University in California.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
I've been on the campus, so I mean I know it's in New York. But he knew where I was going. That I was going to point out his hypocrisy in trying to destroy Israel when they're, he's being educated there as we speak, and also to defame the United States as a racist country when we gave him. So obviously he didn't want to go there. It's an obvious weakness of his. So he kept saying, well, how is that relevant? That's not relevant. He wouldn't tell me where he was born or that he grew up in Egypt or anything else. And of course, at this point, the MSU moderator, as they always do, they're going to say, oh, you have to get to the question, cut it short. And what else did I say? I said, you're a hypocrite. And I also pointed out, you don't know anything about the history of the civil rights movement in this country, because he was showing, posters of Martin Luther King making statements about justice and oppression, which were not in the context of talking about Israel. And he did the same with Nelson Mandela.
Yeah.
talking about justice and oppression within a different context. And so at that point, I kind of run out of it, and the kid says, ask a question. I says, I'm asking questions, but he won't answer them. And then as I sat down, this other guy from behind, who's one of the leaders in the MSU, comes up to me and says, well, I'm going to have the cop come in. I said, bring him in.
Yep.
But he didn't come in. Nothing
Of course
happened.
not.
Right.
So that was basically that.
The whole thing's an amateur propaganda campaign, but it's effective. It's effective. I mean, they get people to hate Jews.
They do, and everybody should be aware of this, is they try to set the ground rules for the question and answer so that the critical questions can't really be delved into with follow-ups and things like that. And they always try to protect their speakers with these rules,
Right.
All right. Well,
and one thing that's very obvious. Well, I mean, it's some people may not know that the reason why Israel is called an apartheid state, and the reason why there is this BDS movement, is because from the South Africa model, South Africa was actually an apartheid state,
right.
and there was a global movement to divest from South Africa, which brought down the apartheid government and changed that country. Right. So the Palestinians and the leftists took a look at that model and decided they would start an international campaign to label Israel as an apartheid state, which of course everybody picked up on and said, yeah, that's something we can all hang our hat on,
Right.
and now we don't have to be called anti-Semites because we're really just against an apartheid state.
Right.
But it has
Well,
real
the girl sitting next to me-
consequences.
The girl sitting next to me, who's staying with us, brought that up in a question. We said, I've lived in Israel, went to school in Israel. My mother's taught in Israel, and has had Arab and Muslim students, and he kept. And finally, she basically said he was a liar, and then of course
she was good. She was good.
He broke that away.
Right.
Yeah, she did a good job, Mark. And then we're gonna have to end it here in a second.
Actually, I don't know if you brought this up because I had to step out for a second, but the videotaping. You had someone come up to try to shut you down videotaping.
He went through it.
He
went
did?
through it. Yeah.
Yeah, and he told them that it was a public event on public property, and he had a right to videotape.
And that's highly important, highly
Absolutely.
critical
Don't let
because
them tell you can't.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing, is they threaten and intimidate. Shut down this because you're being unlawful by videotaping, and you're stepping on my rights. I don't give you permission to videotape me, when actually you do have permission to videotape. And then if somebody doesn't like what you're saying, and he's a member of the Muslim Student Union, he's going to tap you on the shoulder and tell you better sit down and be quiet, or he's going to go get a cop.
So go ahead. Yeah.
Okay, and you said go ahead. But if you had been in a different town or a different place in California, as we saw happened with Mark and the sheriffs in Los Angeles, the cops would come over and ask you, why are you asking a question, and why are you disrupting this meeting? And they would come after you and take you out.
Well, if you're talking about the LA sheriffs,
Yeah.
Sheriff Baca is part of the problem.
Yeah.
And he has this crew underneath him, this so-called, it's a Muslim
Community outreach.
intelligence community. And Baca is definitely part of the problem because he denies there's any problem with radical jihad activity.
And also the LAPD is right in bed with the sheriff's department. I mean, they're
Well,
going to separate them.
Michael Downey, who heads that department, a year or so ago, I'd met him in front of at the open house at the Siddiqui's Mosque, the Islamic Center of Garden Grove in Orange County, and I told him that in 1992, Siddiqui had hosted the Blind Sheikh and translated word for word a sermon he gave on violent jihad in 1992. And you know what his response to me was?
What?
So, well, Gary, over time, some people change.
That was 1 year before '93, the Trade Center.
He was the head of the counter-terror squad in Los Angeles.
Yep. Yeah, we know him well. All right. Hey, Gary, we're going to have to let you go. But you did, again, ladies and gentlemen, go watch this on the archives, YouTube /The United West, all one word. Look at how Gary handled disrupting this Jew hatred speech. Called the guy a hypocrite, called him out. Just you powered over those people, and you did it. And you stopped just at the right time. You weren't a problem. You got your words out. And I listened to the rest of his speech, and he was a little shaken, the guy, and you had totally discredited him. You had put in the minds of people that he's a hypocrite, he's a liar, and it was beautiful work, Gary. Well done.
Great, perfect activism work.
Much,
perfect activism work.
All right, we'll see you.
And this is exactly
Gary Faust.
this is exactly the type of activism that we try to promote. And this is when we call
this is the ideological battle, right there.
The ideological battle. You have to confront them. You have to have a camera. You have to know your rights. You have to non-violence. You don't have to start yelling and screaming, be all code pinkish. Get up there and get yourself drug out of an area. You just have to be smart about it. Keep your calm wits about you. Get it on camera. Get it on
Gary
tape.
Still on?
Gary's gone, but we're looking for Chris.
Thank you, Gary, and Chris is with us.
Oh, Chris is here. All right.
Chris is here.
Let's go right into
Chris. All right.
Christopher Logan. Are you there?
Yes, how are you, Mr. Trento?
How you doing, man? Tom Trento here, CJ and Mark. Now, let me guess. You're from New York.
You're a genius, Tom.
All right.
All right.
Jersey guy here, man. Jersey guy. All right, let's see. We got a little bit of time with you, and you are truly one of the guys on the front lines fighting the counter-jihad movement. And ladies and gentlemen, what we mean by that is that there is a jihad going on in the world, and that's where all the Muslims want to love you and just warm up to you, and they have their inner struggle. And they want to cut your head off too sometimes, but that's the crazy ones, supposedly. There's a jihad going on violently in other lands. Some people are bringing that violent jihad here. But for the most part right now, there's a cultural jihad, two ideologies in conflict, the Judeo-Christian worldview against the Sharia Islamic one. And our guest right now, based out of the state of New York, the city of New York, is on the front lines of the cultural counter-jihad movement. He has a fabulous website called Logan's Warning. Is it .com, Chris?
Yes, sir.
Logan'sWarning.com. Make sure you go there. Tell us a little bit about yourself, how you got involved in this crazy stuff, and what your mission is.
Okay, obviously 9/11 put a lot of focus on Islam. But back then, I admitted I didn't know much about Islam. I believed what I read online, that Muslims in America were different from Muslims everywhere else. And I kept reading about it, and it took about a year, and it started to hit me how they're changing the country by using our laws against us, how they are like Muslims everywhere else. They're just building up their numbers. They're building up their power now. Their influence in the media and our schools. And I used to focus a lot on the UK because the problem was a lot worse there. And entire neighborhoods in the UK are being Islamified. And now the same thing's happening here. I go into these neighborhoods, like Kensington, Brooklyn. There's a mosque there with the call to prayers being broadcast onto the streets. There's another one in Bed-Stuy, Brooklyn. In Midtown Manhattan, when they do the prayers, they leave the front doors open so it's blaring onto the street. And all the surrounding stores are Islamic, clothing stores. And my main point is there's a lot of people, including yourself, that are doing a great job getting the word out. But I think we have to go into another phase now and provide some answers to this problem. Because the way things are going, if the rules don't change, I don't see us winning this war.
All right, now what do you see your primary mission as, and then what do you mean go into a new phase? Sketch that out for us.
Well, my main mission is to help alert the country to the spread of Islam itself. I don't believe in politically correct terms. I'm seeing years ago it went from, a lot of people didn't want to say Islam. They don't want to offend Muslims, so they started saying radical Islam is the problem. And from there, I think the terminology is going in the wrong way, which is basically the media's fault. Now I'm seeing terminology, then it went to Islamist. The other day I read an article that said radical Islamist. What does that mean? There's a moderate Islamist, there's a good Islamist. They're Muslim. Call them what they are. And I think we need to name the enemy. The enemy is Islam itself, because beating around the bush is not working. The UK tried all it. They, tried the moderates are going to save the day. Moderate Islam is going to coexist with the British culture. It's not going to happen. It's going to come down to either Sharia. They're never going to stop pushing us. It's going to be Sharia law or life as we know it. So when I say we need to go into another phase, we need to continue this education. What you're doing there is great, but we have to have answers. I don't think we're going to, if we don't end their immigration, Muslim immigration, I don't see us winning this war. They're just going to keep pushing and pushing, and more of America is going to become Islamified. But I don't see us ending Muslim immigration until we get up for Saudi oil, which is another whole
deal.
Our government bows to the Saudis.
All right, it's 42 minutes past 4 o'clock. We have Chris Logan, loganswarning.com, a website where Chris engages quite a bit in debate with Muslims from all over the world. It's really amazing. Chris does tremendous work. He goes deeply into Islamic doctrine, Islamic scriptures, into the Hadith, the Sunnah, the Quran, pulling verses out, detailed debates with various Muslims. And he's arguing right now, and I've seen this, I've heard this argument a lot, two phases to your argument. One is, and we're seeing this in Europe, we spent some time in Europe. Many of the counter-jihad people there have concluded that Muslim immigration into France, into Italy, into England must stop because it's propagating the Islamic problem. And as much as you stick an adjective, radical Islam, Sharia Islam, all of that,
doesn't matter.
No, the commonality is the ideology of Islam. And from the other perspective, those who are the leaders in Islam worldwide, Ayman al-Zawahiri, Osama until he died, Qaddafi, Qutb, all these guys, they will write in their doctrines that Islam is at war with the West. They never modify and say radical Islam is at war with the West. They say Islam is at war with the West. So it's so hard for Westerners, particularly Americans, to look at a religion and say, how can we be at war with a religion? Who cares what it is? How do you handle that, Chris? How you want us to believe that we're at war with a religion when religions are all just nice things where they're just a different path to God?
Well, we're not. Well, some of us are at war with Islam, but Islam is at war with us. The scriptures prove that. Muhammad called for potential war. He said, if the people convert to Islam or accept Islamic rule, their lives are saved from him. That's in the Sahih Hadith. The Muslim Hadith, you were speaking about Israel before. The Israel-Palestine conflict is not about, we want a little more land, move the borders a little. It's about destroying Israel. Muhammad said he was going to drive all the Jews and Christians out of the Arabian Peninsula.
And
so
they did the
Hadith
same.
also states that Muslims are going to fight and kill Jews to reach Judgment Day. It's all there, but the problem is in this politically correct world, people don't want to face it. Slowly, more of us are coming around, but I think we have to prove that Islam is at war with us, first of all. And stop beating around the bush and name the enemy.
All right, 888-565. If you want to talk with Chris Logan of Logan's Warning, we want you to go to that website, loganswarning.com. 888-565-1470. We'll take your calls. Mark, you had a question.
Yeah. When we talk to people from the Middle East, outside, not necessarily Islamic countries, but like Lebanese, Christian Lebanese and stuff like that, what they tell us, it says, I don't know why you guys in America believe these guys. I go, they've been telling them this nonsense for years, and we know they're liars. We know everything they say is a lie. You go, why? I don't understand why you Americans don't, believe them. He goes, you're just stupid or what?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. We have a lot of friends here, especially in South Florida, who are Hindus, from India, even from Pakistan, and they don't understand why we don't get it either.
And I say, you guys are just stupid.
Stuck on stupid.
You guys stuck on stupid or what?
Yeah.
I go, they lie, they've always lied, they always will lie, and they're never going to change. I go, what part of that do you not understand?
Yeah, I mean, and Chris was talking earlier about England. Well, they've already submitted.
Yeah, they're gone.
They're forget about it.
They're on perma stupid over there. Yeah.
They already have submitted.
And
it's all over.
We noticed that in France too.
Yeah.
We noticed it in France, and they're going into the Sharia.
So you can halt all the immigration that you want to those countries, but it won't matter because they have a sufficient percentage of their population now already, and with the next generations coming behind them, they got all the numbers they need. They don't have to import anymore.
And I'll just
what you need to do is export them.
Anybody who listens to CARE, or any of these Muslim Brotherhood groups, any of these Muslim leaderships, and you believe them, you're ignorant. You're a pure moron, because there's tons and tons and tons and tons and tons of evidence out there to the contrary. And if you don't want to go out and see it, and you just want to keep your head in the sand,
they're afraid. People are afraid.
These are the same people who immediately blamed the United States of America for the fact that we were attacked on 9/11. It didn't take but a day for these people to wring their hands and say, oh, boo-hoo, what did we do to bring this on to ourselves? And they have never turned around from that.
Yeah, Chris, I followed some of your debates and dialogues with these people that send you death threats and just crazy stuff. Tell us about that a little bit.
Well, on the social networks, I go out, sometimes they find me, or I go looking for Muslims to debate, because as the other gentleman was saying, they lie. They lie like they're instructed to lie. They'll say anything to cover for Islam. But my main goal is to show the difference in our belief system. In 10 years, approximately 10, 11 years, literally, I have not, well, let me just make this clear. In Islam, there's a vile law. The age minimum for marriage in Islam, there isn't one. It's sex upon puberty when married, which is sickening to me. Islam, Quran 424, 425, 3350 allow the rape of captives of war. In almost a decade, 11 years, not one Muslim that I have spoken to has condemned either of those laws. They make excuses for them.
The so-called moderate Muslims that you come across in the United States, what do they have to say about it?
Well, my good buddy, Zuhdi Jasser, I've spoken to a few times. He's either delusional or he's lying. He's one of the greatest con men ever.
He's practicing Zuhdism. I think he's practicing Zuhdism, to be quite honest with you. It's not Islam. There is no Islam in Zuhdism whatsoever.
I know.
Because
I've never been able to understand when you take the jihad out of Islam, what are you left with? I mean, I thought that was the whole goal and the whole point of the whole thing. So if you take that out, what is it that you're left with? If you stop praying for the Jews to be eradicated, what are you left with in Islam?
Yeah, nothing.
Well, I want to hear what Chris.
No, I'm asking Chris.
Yeah.
Because he has spoken with and debated with these people that maybe he knows, because I don't know.
Could there be the proverbial, forget about Zuhdi, but the proverbial Muslim who's here, maybe second or third generation, doesn't buy into all that stuff, just wants to, do his five prayers a day and go watch the Super Bowl?
Well, anything's possible. My thing is, I'm not willing to gamble away the country on that. That the Muslims are going to be different in 2 or 3 generations. You just, like you guys were saying, you just look at Europe. The same thing's happening here. So why? And there's Muslim groups that are not hiding their agenda, like the Muslim Brotherhood. Why give them the opportunity to come here and destroy it from within? I mean, enough's enough. It's 1,400 years of the same behavior. Time's up. And
no more do-overs for you.
Time's up.
No more do-overs. That's it.
Yeah. It's our turn for the next 1,400 years. Hey, what do you think about President Obama? Is he a Muslim or what? What do you think?
I don't know. I won't unless I saw him on the prayer rug, I won't say it. But it doesn't matter if he is or not. The results are the same. When he said he was going to stand with the Muslims, that's one thing he didn't lie about.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness! I can't believe we haven't met before now. You're hilarious.
No, I've been messing around with Chris for a while now, quite a while. And
you're gonna have to come back on again, Chris.
Yeah. What is your philosophical or religious belief? You a Christian, a Jew, an atheist? Where do you line up in the spectrum?
I'm not religious. I know. I look to unite all religions, even atheists.
He's a Unitarian.
So wait, the Unitarians disrupting the moment here. Chris, I'm a Christian, CJ's a Jew, and Mark is a Unitarian.
I'm a Jewish person.
Yes, we have everything covered here. I'm a Chris.
And you all get look
You're
how
Jew,
you all
I'm a
get
Christian.
along.
What? So you're what? You're like not religious, but you want everybody to get along.
Well, I want to unite all religions and atheists against the common enemy of Islam.
Oh, that's what he wants to do.
It's a Unitarian. That's a Unitarian.
Yeah, but I'm trying to understand his beliefs. Now, are you motivated by two things motivate me to fight Islam, jihad. One is being an American, the red, white, and blue, all the stuff that we live in and die for. And the other is my Christian faith. I see certain principles that are being violated by Islam, and I got to say, that's not right. So those two things motivate me. What motivates you to because you put your neck out, you get a lot of death threats, man.
Freedom motivates me. My family's future generations motivate me. How could someone, I tell non-Muslims, especially you're a Christian, Tom, those Christian interfaith meetings, they're suicidal.
Oh, God, yeah.
Well, they glorify death.
I'm actually going to disagree with you on that one, Chris. What we should start
doing.
This
is Mark speaking.
It's
now.
Mark speaking. What we should start doing is we should start actually encouraging the interfaith meetings and start attending the interfaith meetings and just blowing them apart. And but
as they are now, he's referring.
No, they're going
You want
to
to take them over.
Yeah, no, I'm saying just go over there and say, hey, we call for interfaith dialogue and watch them just run and scramble because they don't want interfaith dialogue. They want you to submit to Islam.
Sure. So your family motivates you. What else motivates you, Chris Logan? Now, wait, let me ask you this.
My way of life, and I'm just against the barbarity of Sharia law. It's stuck in the past, and that's where it belongs.
Okay.
And if we don't stop it, there'll be slavery, there'll be child marriage, the rapes are going on all across Europe already. It's just a matter of time till it starts here. But the women's groups don't say anything because it's Islam. It goes on and on and on.
Yeah, why do you think the women are quiet about Islam? It's so misogynistic.
I don't know. I guess because it's anti-American. They're more far leftist than women's rights, it seems, those groups. Like Code Pink, I'm on their email list. They're always sending some email out in favor of the Pakistanis and help Pakistan, and then I write them back, ask them simple questions about Islam, and it's always the same thing. They take the easy way out. They don't even answer.
All right, we're going to have to close in a second, but on the chat room, people are saying, right on, Chris, the people like you. Freedom should motivate the American people. All this Muslim jihad started when Obama took office. Let's see.
That's not true.
Blair has too much to answer. We're talking about. We got people from Europe, from Canada, all kinds of people chatting like crazy. Absolute insanity makes me furious. Hey, Chris, you're a hit with the folks out there.
We got to bring it back.
We got to close down.
Yeah,
this.
But please call back.
Yes,
anytime.
We'll anytime, and we'll set up a longer time with you. And if you got anything breaking anywhere, let us know. We'll help you out with it. But right now, ladies and gentlemen, say goodbye to Chris Logan.
Bye, Chris.
Go to loganswarning.com, and we will be back in a momento. Un momento.
Momento.
He's
yeah.
AM 1470 WNN with more of what you need to know. Stay up to date with Toonie's Healthline and your host, Al Foreman, Mondays at noon on South Florida's Health and Wealth Network, AM 1470 WNN.
My name is Sue Smith. I'm 38 years old, and I work at a graphic design company, which is funny, because I couldn't even draw a stick figure when I was a kid. But I met someone who told me, you know what? You can do anything if you really want to. And if the teenage me were here, she'd tell you,
I wouldn't be into drawing and art if it wasn't for big brothers, big sisters. Most kids from my neighborhood don't get into art. They get into trouble. But I was lucky because my big sister showed me early on that I didn't have to be like most people. And to the young me,
that meant a lot. My big sister's name is Sheila, and Sheila is the reason that this 8-year-old grows up to have an amazing job as a graphic designer.
Whether you donate money or time, you're helping Big Brothers Big Sisters help a child, and that can last a lifetime. Start something today at bigbrothersbigsisters.org. Brought to you by Big Brothers Big Sisters and the Ad Council.
We all share a common journey. We wanted to serve our country, stand for something bigger than ourselves, and protect the things we love. Although we were ready to face any mission, help those in need, and make a difference, for some of us, coming home was more of a challenge than we expected. In the service, we had each other's backs. But as veterans, it can sometimes feel like we're all alone, even when surrounded by our loved ones.
If you're a veteran or service member in crisis or know one who is, call 1-800-273-8255 and press 1. Chat at veteranscrisisline.net or text 838-255.
You served your country. Now the Veterans Crisis Line is here to serve you. If you're a veteran in crisis or know a veteran who is, help is available. Call the Veterans Crisis Line today at 1-800-273-8255 and press 1. Or chat online at www.veteranscrisisline.net. It's your call.
This is Steve Kane, and let's face it, in this economy, everyone is cutting back. But now, thanks to Dr. Michael Blum, the one place you don't have to cut back is on your dental health. Right now, Dr. Blum is offering a special for Steve Kane listeners only. A free full exam, including consultation and x-rays, all at no charge. Dr. Michael Blum, with 20 years of experience and a reputation for being one of the finest dentists in all South Florida. Call and schedule your appointment today. 954-463-4999. That's 954-463-4999. Remember, this is for Steve Kane listeners only, so mention my name when you call. You can reach Dr. Blum at blumdentist.com.
This is Health and Wealth Radio, AM 1470, WWNN Pompano Beach, and WKIS HD3, Boca Raton, Miami, Fort Lauderdale.
IRN USA Radio News, I'm Hope Duggar. President Barack Obama says he wants REI business executive Sally Jewell to lead his Interior Department. Jewell is the president and chief executive officer at REI, which sells clothing and gear for outdoor wear. She's the first woman the president has nominated for his cabinet in the second term. Obama noted her record of environmental stewardship at REI. If confirmed, Jewell will replace current Interior Secretary Ken Salazar, who held the post throughout Obama's first term. U.S. officials say budget pressures will force the Pentagon to cut its aircraft carrier presence in the Persian Gulf from 2 carriers to 1. They say Defense Secretary Leon Panetta has formally approved a plan to keep just 1 carrier in the region. Panetta today laid out a grim list of spending cuts that he said the Pentagon will have to make in the coming weeks. He said the cuts would damage the country's economy and hurt the military's ability to respond in a crisis. This is IRN USA Radio News.
Valentine's Day is next week, and ProFlowers is offering an amazing deal. 100 stunning blooms of love plus a free glass vase for just $19.99. Go to proflowers.com, click on the radio microphone in the upper right corner, and enter the secret code HEART5. But hurry, this incredible deal expires this Friday. Flower prices will skyrocket during Valentine's Week. Order now from ProFlowers to get huge savings. Plus, pick any delivery date and it's guaranteed. 100 colorful blooms of love sent fresh from the fields. Guaranteed to stay fresh and beautiful for at least 7 full days for only $19.99. Remember, flower prices can double, even triple next week. And this incredible deal expires this Friday. The only way to get this amazing deal is to visit proflowers.com, click on the radio microphone in the upper right corner, and enter the secret code HEART5. That's proflowers.com, secret code HEART5.
Activists say Syrian rebels and regime forces have been engaged in their most intense clashes in weeks today inside the heavily guarded capital. The sounds of shell blasts have echoed through the downtown area. Many children were kept home from school and residents hid in their houses. Boeing 787 Dreamliners continue to be grounded worldwide, but the battery maker for the aircraft plans to keep up production of car and aircraft lithium-ion cells while being at the center of the investigation of fires on the 787s. Our correspondent Jordan Hooker brings us more.
According to Bloomberg, GS Yaosu Corporation does not expect significant impact on sales. A director for the company said on Tuesday that the battery maker is cooperating with the investigation into the 787's troubles. Boeing plans to continue production of the Dreamliner and develop 2 new versions of its jet. Jordan Hooker, IRN USA News.
For the latest news and analysis, log on to irnusanews.com.
Are any of these symptoms familiar? Weight gain, hot flashes, rapid heartbeat, night sweats? How about fatigue, nausea, low libido, and fat storage? If you're a woman over 40 experiencing any of these symptoms, you probably have hormonal imbalance. Amberen restores hormonal balance in women over 40, so the extra pounds fall away and the other symptoms simply disappear. To receive a complimentary risk-free trial with a free 30-day supply, just be one of the first callers right now at 1-800-727-6808. That's 1-800-727-6808.
Detroit police say a 70-year-old high school basketball coach shot and killed a teenager who they say was trying to rob him. They said the coach was accosted by 2 teen boys Friday evening while walking 2 girls outside the school. According to police, the teens announced a robbery and struggled with the coach, who pulled a handgun and fired. He's a reserve police officer who is licensed to carry a gun. A 16-year-old was killed and a 15-year-old was wounded. The mother of the teen who died says her son did not have a gun. Prosecutors are considering whether to file charges. New research shows steroid shots are not the best long-term treatment for tennis elbow. Correspondent Carlotta Bradley has more.
The shots provide short-term pain relief, but a study suggests patients may get worse after a year and are more likely to have a recurrence. By contrast, patients who got dummy injections alone or with physical therapy were more likely to completely recover and less likely to have tennis elbow come back. The results are from a small Australian study, but echo previous research. Injections of cortisone or similar steroids are widely recommended to treat tennis elbow and similar conditions, likely because of the short-term pain relief. The study is in the Journal of the American Medical Association.
A spokesman for the Mormon Church says the Boy Scouts acted wisely today in putting off any decision about whether to admit gays as scouts or adult leaders. The Mormons are among the religious groups that have urged the Scouts not to end their current ban on gays. Scout officials today decided that any decision on changing the policy on gays will be up to the 1,400 voting members of the group's national council at a meeting in Texas in May. With IRNU.
What you want to know. What you need to know. This is South Florida's Health and Wealth Radio, AM 1470, WNN.
Here's some great news from Tom Trento, host of the daily WNN Trento Vision Show. Due to the unparalleled success of the Trento Vision Show, you now have an amazing opportunity to advertise on the Trento Vision Show. If you want more information about this excellent opportunity for your business, please contact Tom Trento at 561-319-5533, or you can email him, tom@trentovision.tv. The opinions expressed on the following sponsored program are strictly those of the host, guests, and callers, and not necessarily those of this station, its staff, management, or sponsors. Welcome to Trento Vision, where bad ideas get pulverized and the truth will set you free. Trento Vision is hosted by Tom Trento. Tom can be reached at 561-319-5533 or Tom at TrentoVision.tv. Listen and watch every weekday from 3 to 6 p.m. on AM 1470 WNN and TrentoVision.tv. Now, let's get a peek at Tom's view of the world. Here's Tom Trento.
Do you remember how last hour we just exposed to you something happened at the University of California, Irvine, with them doing a Muslim apartheid week and a guy capturing it on film inside the student union? Well, it's happening right here, right now, right this instant, here in Boca Raton, Florida. Less than 10 miles away from here.
In Boca Raton?
In Boca Raton.
Our very own beautiful Boca Raton?
Because right now we have Israel Apartheid Week, and we have a person over there trying to get film camera of it, and they're trying to shut him down.
Israel Apartheid Week is where?
Well, go ahead, tell them, CJ.
Is it at the FAU campus?
The Florida Atlantic University.
Florida Atlantic
the
University.
Same university I got assaulted at by the same professor who was at the Florida Atlantic University, who assaulted me and pled guilty to assault for filming. He attacked me with the camera. Now
let me ask you: does FAU get state funds? Why is the state paying for Israel Apartheid Week?
Well,
why is the state of Florida paying for Israel Apartheid Week?
This is a very good question because we have a developing situation here. We're going to get a phone call in a second from one of our reporters that we sent over there.
Right.
Got thrown out, and I'll get the full report. Hi, everybody. Tom Trento Vision, 7 minutes after 5 o'clock. WNN 1470 if you're just getting in your automobiles. If you're watching, Tea Party folks, we're going to show you something very interesting now. We are sending a couple of people over to Israel Apartheid Week, really Jew Hatred Week at a state university, Florida Atlantic University. And we're going to get a call from one of our guys that just was thrown out. Two of them were thrown out of the event on a university campus because they were not allowed to videotape.
Why were they being disruptive?
No, they're not allowed to videotape with some bogus stuff. But the point is, as we come to our final hour here, and we've been looking at this whole array of Jew hatred going on around the country, we're illustrating it in Boca Raton, Florida, and we're waiting for one of our. We'll take calls in a second, but we're waiting for one of our reporters to call in, and it's a beautiful graphic illustration of. Probably something illegal, because you raised the point, CJ. The student funds comes from the school money, which comes from the taxpayer.
Yep.
So how could, and what I understand so far, I don't want to get too far until we listen to the reporter, is that they were told you can sit in, but you can't record anything. And our reporters are instructed to say,
why not?
It's a public university. It's all this stuff.
It's the bastion of free speech. Is not the universities in America the bastion of free speech?
Yep.
Well, they will claim that they're hosting Apartheid Week in the first place because of free speech. So they'll give free speech to anti-Semites, to genocide advocates.
We're going to have to pursue
but
this.
They won't give free speech to the people who want to record
this is an outrage.
What these people have to say.
This is a complete outrage. This is what is coming down the pike. Shut them down. Shut out your message. Attack the websites. The one that dare say anything.
Yeah, Saturday night they hack into the Tea Party community's website in order to shut us down, to shut us up. And Lars Hedegaard is shot.
Try to kill him.
Yeah, try to kill him. So obviously they can't convert us. The only thing they can do is either they're going to shut us up or they're going to kill us.
Let's go
it's
to
very
our
simple.
Let's go to our reporter. Are you with us,
Michael? On the line.
I'm with you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you sound good.
What's going on?
I'm doing very good. I'm just hanging out in the sun outside of FAU's little meeting room for this event that was going to be held. They are not letting any media in at all. It's a closed thing put on by the students, who actually recognize the other cameraman and is tried to have us escorted out by the police were present. The school board was present, saying, we're not letting you do this. We are not letting you do this.
So only one opinion, their opinion, nothing else on a public university where there's supposed to be freedom of
Well,
speech.
let's get the facts before we jump to conclusions. Let's get the facts. Do you have your media passes with you?
I have the media pass that I was using at the presidential debates, and at the presidential debates.
Okay, so you had credentials from our show here, a legitimate show, we do news, we do all of that. You had a legitimate pass, and the presidential debates recognized the validity of your media pass, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Now, and you were at the, I believe you were at the Republican National Convention with a media pass also, right?
I have that one as well.
Okay, so you've been all over with media passes. You've done this before. And what kind of room was it that you walked into?
Small little meeting room, maybe large enough for 50 chairs. Little gathering of students, a little think tank of students.
About how many were actually there?
There was probably about 20 kind of lining up. There was a few people milling around the room, so probably 25, 30 people right now.
All right. Did you notice, were they dressed in Arabic clothes, any of them?
There was a few women who were wrapped up in scarves, but a lot of them, wearing keffiyeh. Some American males just hanging out. But there was a very strong Palestinian vibe.
Was there a paper program of the event that lists who the speakers were and what times they were going to be speaking and any rules for the audience?
They didn't lay anything out, or they didn't have any paperwork, but it was, what was her name? Noor Fauzi.
She's a problem over there.
Of the SJP.
Students for Justice, SJP is Students for Justice for Palestine. That's another name for the Muslim Student Association at FAU, Florida Atlantic University. What was the actual lecture tonight? Did you catch the name of it?
Did you catch the name of the lecture at all, Damon? It's going to be Greta Berlin, but we don't know.
Oh, the lecturer is Greta Berlin. Okay, what's the subject?
The Free Gaza Movement.
The Free Gaza Movement. Okay. Now, this is very interesting.
Okay.
Now you two walked in there, and you had your camera. And at what point did they say no media or no pictures or whatever they said no to?
We walked in, and there was a small little gathering. Then I kind of overhear out of the corner of my hearing, or back behind me, saying, we're not going to allow any photography, no media, no video. I start to walk over and ask questions, say, what's going on with this? She starts talking to me, and polite at first, saying, we just don't want it. This is a student-funded meeting, and we don't want media in unless you've been cleared by FAU.
But they advertised it, didn't they?
But the student-funded meeting, first of all, when they say student-funded meeting, which
that
is
means
actually
taxpayer
money, because the student union is funded by taxpayers. And so, there's no getting around this. This is a taxpayer-funded event.
This may be a time to call Peter Feynman Law. No, there may be a legal issue here. The fact that, well, there's certainly a very bizarre prima facie conflict. That we'll get into and discuss.
Definitely. If you guys could just write down the names of anybody who you spoke to.
Right.
Just write them down now while you remember them, and then we'll investigate this after.
Yeah. Here's what we want you to do. You and the other gentleman, go in, sit, don't shoot, don't videotape, don't do anything.
Just take notes.
It looks like we've almost been blacklisted by. I mean, there was.
Well, let them tell you you're not allowed in even without filming.
Let him finish.
That's the thing. The head of the SJP, the girl that we were speaking with, recognized one of us. Says, no, you guys aren't getting in. We know how you demonize. We know everything about you. You are not allowed in. So. Spot it, stick out, and what can you do? There's a police escort at the door right now. The other cameraman is talking to him, but they have us blocked off.
Take his name too.
Yeah, you. This is.
Get his name.
This is
the
very
policeman who
interesting.
you speak to.
What you're looking at, folks, you're looking at me, but what you're listening to is this is Tom Trento, Trento Vision with CJ Mark. We're here. We sent Mike from our studio, who has full credentials for media passes, completely legitimate, and we sent him to one of the Israel apartheid events at Florida Atlantic University. And if you're just tuning in, he and another fellow were there. They went into this small meeting to listen to Greta Berlin, one of the anti-Jewish speakers, speak on the subject of the Free Gaza movement. Fine. I mean, I think this is a public relations campaign and a public worldwide campaign to get the word out about how bad Israel is.
It's also
why can't you have a news people there if you're trying to get the word out about what's going on?
Because this is what it is. It's an infiltration in the universities to try to get the students all riled up about it. Just like what happened out in California. They try to shut down any type of other discourse or public opinion.
Okay, then let's do this. Let's send our guys back, and you...
Without your cameras.
Well, carry them with you, but don't take them out. And we want you to talk to the police officers, get clarification as to why the police officers will not let you videotape inside. And then after the event, and we may be over there too. I think when the show's over, we're going to come over there. Where's the room? Tell us where the room is.
The room, if you come to the Student Union, it's the building. What building is the conference center, just to the left of the Student Union.
Text me the name and number of the room, okay?
Okay.
All right. After, if everything gets out before we get there, folks, what we're doing for you watching and listening, we are now running an operation on the Israel Apartheid Week because we smell a rat. We smell an Islamic rat, and that's fine, but we hit back too.
And university officials breaking the law.
Yes.
Denying the press in there, denying public opinion on a state-funded university, and trying to make it.
But we got to get this on the record.
This event was advertised to the general public.
Yes.
Not just to the students of FAU.
We got to get on the record.
The general public has been invited to attend these events.
Yes.
And now they are not letting the general public in because they don't happen to like certain members of the general public.
Yep. Now, you remember what happened a couple of months ago with this group, Students for Justice in Palestine, SJP, when they put the eviction notices up?
Yeah, right.
And the 200 eviction notices and all that stuff.
You explain that, Tom.
Well, they put up eviction notices that the school and the state and the county of Palm Beach has determined that you have to get out of your apartment in the next 24 hours. And they made them very realistic looking. They had the seal of Palm Beach on there. They had the signature of the school and all of that. And they were doing political theater showing how the Jews treat Arabs in the occupied lands. They make them leave their homes, right?
Yeah, because Gaza is occupied, right?
Right.
So, but we were in the middle of that. I got very involved in that. And the upshot was the school said, hey, it's their First Amendment right to do that. They shouldn't have put the seal of Palm Beach County on it, but they exercised their First Amendment right. That's okay, folks, because guess what?
First Amendment to post things on private property?
Yes, that was considered a First Amendment right to do that.
Yeah, good luck if they try to put up a poster across your front lawn and put a poster up on your living room window.
Now, there were some people that said, well, it was bad judgment here or there, but in terms of the First Amendment right.
Just some misguided kids.
But now the shoe is on the other foot, as they say. These people are suppressing the First Amendment rights of just being in the room, of access, let alone they did nothing preemptively in terms of their behavior to cause them to be out. It's the same thing we run into all the time. What you're going to do at some point in the future. But it's very important, and we're teaching the audience out there, the listening and viewing audience, when you run an operation on these guys, it's very important, Mike and the other gentleman, to get this on the record. You need to get people, because what the administration is going to say, oh no, you should have been in there, and a couple of people made a mistake not letting you in.
Yeah, that's why you need to write down everybody's name, who you talked to, and what they said, because you don't have a video record of your conversation with them. You should at least have the information written down.
You're going into investigative journalist mode after the event to question a lot of people, and they're going to blow you. And you can roll cameras then. Roll those interviews all you want. And you're going to find out, why weren't we allowed to do this? Could I have your name? We're going to pursue this. We think it was unfair, but do it nice. You guys do it nicely.
And
All
after
right.
they throw you out, find a place to go chill out and keep everything plugged in and charged up.
Yes. So 888-565-1470 if anybody wants to jump in and talk about Jew Hatred Week at Florida Atlantic University. And we're in the middle right now of hatred toward, I don't know, who do they think these people are? I mean, they know the other guy, they said, but we'll talk about that. All right, Michael, you can go and Godspeed and get some good information.
Thank you.
Text us the location to the
Be careful.
We'll come over afterwards. Okay, bye.
Very
Pretty
interesting.
It's amazing.
Let's take this apart.
We just show you something that happened out in California. We tell you it's happened before. We tell you it's happening everywhere around the country and throughout the world.
Yeah.
And, oh my God, it's happening right in our own backyard, less than 10 miles away from us.
Right.
I mean, what does it take? You remember what we were talking about? Stuck on stupid?
Right.
If you want to be stuck on stupid for the rest of your life, go ahead, bury your head in the sand, and don't look up outside your window. Because right outside your window, it is happening right now.
And you know what? You don't really have to even be interested in Israel to be disgusted by this to begin with, okay? And if you're a parent or a grandparent of a student at FAU, I would love to hear from you, because do you think that this is what your kids and grandkids should be going to college to get educated
to learn
about?
how to hate Jews?
Yeah.
I don't care what, if you know nothing about the Islamic issue, if you know nothing about anything about Palestine, Gaza, or whatever. Do you think it is okay to send your kids to a school to hate Jews?
That's a good question. 888-565-1470. But I also see a significant First Amendment issue here.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think in my mind, if a student group using school money, which is tax money, can, with no criteria, with indiscriminate criteria, unilaterally prohibit people they don't like from participating in a public event.
Yeah,
I know
that's
that.
the point, is that it's a public event. It's not like you're walking into somebody's French literature class and saying, I'm a member of the tax-paying public and I have a right to come in and sit in on this class. This is an event that is advertised to the public outside of the university system.
And the people who were over there who were doing the reporting, all right, you made a very good point, Tom, earlier, where you said, listen, they were certified to go into presidential debates, and you know what hoops you got to go through to get certified. You can't just walk up there. Secret Service, you got to do all this other stuff. You got to get IDs. You got to do all this nonsense. Then, and the Republican National Convention debates, you got to go through all that same hoops, all those same verification steps, everything like this. So 100% certified. We're on a radio station. We have a perfectly legitimate right to be at these events at these universities, and yet they're banning the press. They're banning the press from these events?
But also, in the public advertising of these events, there's no disclaimers that said the media is prohibited from attending and filming recording any of these events.
I think they're screwed.
And furthermore, that's why I said to Michael, I said, okay,
I may get that Ferrari after all.
After they tell you can't go in and videotape, say, okay, well, I'm going to go in there and I'm not going to tape it.
Right.
Stop me from going now.
We don't want. Yeah, exactly. We don't want our investigative journalists to push it too far. If we were there,
well, why not? We could always call the Southern Poverty Law Center to defend our rights.
Good point. I think if we got the JVs out today. I think if the first string was out, I think the cameras would be set up and the cameras would be rolling, and cops drag us away. Okay.
Okay,
drag us
somebody
away.
else
Yeah.
taking a
Here
picture
we
of
go.
that?
Everybody else, who else is
Yeah.
taking a picture of this?
Yeah.
You know, you're dragging people out to arrest them. This is too. I'm getting goosebumps. This is too beautiful. Talk about apartheid.
Yeah.
You know, these people are such hypocrites. But what are they afraid of? Well, I mean,
They're afraid of the
Whenever
truth.
you shine the light on evil, it wants to stay in the dark. They love to operate in the dark. And this is nothing but a pure Jew hate fest. We know it. We've seen it. We've seen it firsthand. We know what it is, and they don't want that Jew hate fest exposed. That's exactly what it is.
and it's really a dilemma when you're stuck in Islam like this, where you operate in the shadows and darkness for 1,400 years. And all of a sudden, people have iPhones and all these different things, and you're exposed for what you're doing. You're brought into the 21st century of technology, but your ideology and your methodology is 7th century.
Yeah.
There's a real conflict there, and
Yeah.
it's
Note
been,
to Barghouti, queer.
and it's really interesting because they want publicity, particularly in Jewish South Florida. There's 500,000 Jews in the sound of our voice right now, from Miami to Orlando. And there's 800,000 Jewish people in the state. 500,000 the sound of our voice. Many in Boca Raton, they being the Muslim community, wants to push the BSD, boycott, sanctions, and divestment. They want to push that and have big publicity. But they don't want us being there because they're afraid we're going to videotape something and then we're going to make a video that makes them look stupid. So, but that's the way the world works.
I tell you what, I mean,
and it's not hard making them look stupid.
You're a Christian.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a Unitarian. CJ is over here Jewish.
Yes.
You know, I'm looking at this, and I'm a Jewish person in South Florida here. And if I'm not totally outraged by this, you're not Jewish. You simply have no Jewish blood in you, because you should be calling up and screaming at this stupid university for holding an event to kill you.
Yeah. No,
and it's ridiculous.
Well, I think, if I'm not mistaken, and I know I'm not mistaken, this is going on all week. So,
what are you doing over there, allowing your kids to go to this school? This is not coming from a Jewish person, not Christian.
The reason why I was doing this is because somebody sent me the flyer sideways. I could turn my computer upside down. Tonight is the Freedom Sailors. I guess they're the entertainment. An evening
the
with
Freedom Sailors.
The
is that
free
the people
Gaza.
running trying to run ships into Gaza with
the
illegal
Freedom
arms?
Sailors.
Yeah, George Galloway.
An evening with the Free Gaza movement. That's what this is right now. We're going to go over there after this. And then tomorrow on the 7th is Gaza Children's Memorial and Die-In.
Oh, and Die-In.
Die-In on the Free Speech lawn, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. I think I know where we're going to be in the morning tomorrow. And then on Friday, A Child's View from Gaza, art exhibits.
Oh, I've seen that.
Whatever. All week event.
And where's the disclaimer on there about who can come and who can't?
Let's see.
Does it say you must hate Jewish people to attend?
To shoot an elephant in the eye whenever the gates are gray. Students for Justice in Palestine presents a week to spread awareness of the Gazian suffering that continues under Israeli occupation and attack with U.S. taxpayer support. This week...
Yes, U.S. taxpayer support for Hamas.
This week notes the devastating Operation Cast Lead, December 2008 to January 2009, during which
we launched rockets. Oh, I'm sorry. No, I'm sorry. We can't.
During which the killing of 1,400 Palestinians, including 352 children, and wounding 5,000. The event is often called Pillar of Defense, resulted in the death of 105, including 30 children.
Who were used as human shields in rocket and bomb-making factories.
Justice to shoot an elephant. Okay, all right. So this is a week to raise awareness of the bellicose and and destructive nature of Israel. Okay, that's their viewpoint. It's America. It's on the campus. You can do that. But they blocked out other people who may have a different opinion to come in and listen to what they're saying.
Or who may not have an opinion and simply want to record what the event was.
Yeah.
Well, because you know what? They're afraid of the media. They're afraid of the exposure. They're afraid to be shown
You know
for
what?
who
If
they
it
are.
was MSNBC, they would have been invited.
You got the cord for this thing? Where's the cord?
No, I do not.
Okay,
Did
you
Mike
won't-
take it?
He might have.
I'll give you mine.
Yeah, let me see.
But you know, this whole
I want to get this prepared for
this whole escapade out
phase
there.
2 here.
And how can you just sit there and not do anything? That's what I don't get. How can you just sit and just not see what is happening?
Well, it's 5:31 in the afternoon on the 6th.
I'd like to hear what Valanda has to say.
Is she
about-
still on the
Yeah,
phone? Oh my
because,
God, bring her
you
on.
know,
We're over
she
here
has
ranting and raving. Bring her
Something
on.
to say about. She knows what apartheid is.
Oh, he never took. Well, I guess he didn't need it. He never took the.
No.
So he
She's
didn't.
gone?
She on?
Is she on? Okay, Valanda's on.
Hey, Valanda, how you doing? Sorry to keep you on hold. We got
Sorry to
tied
keep
up
you
in our
on
own
hold.
passion. We forgot about
yeah,
you.
we got tied.
Yeah,
we got tied up with a real case.
Yeah, I know. I heard, and it's at my old alma mater.
Oh, really?
Yeah, FAU. I can remember. I was just thinking when you guys were talking about that. I remember during the latter 80s and 90s, there was a particular instructor, if you could call him that. He was this statistics instructor, and he really wasn't all that great, but he used to stand in the pavilion, and he used to basically argue for like hours about the Palestinian cause. And he was on the side; he was pro-Palestinian.
I'm shocked.
So I'm not surprised at all that this is happening. I guess with the advent of the mosque in that area, because I understand there is a mosque nearby.
Yes, there is.
This is becoming more, I guess, prevalent there at that campus. But what I really wanted to call and say was that we were listening at the program somewhat yesterday, and I was just thinking with the I guess the clip that Tom played from the gentleman who was in Tallahassee, and I guess the ones that were played today, they're just basically taking something from the old civil rights playbook, particularly from the Al Sharptons and Jesse Jackson's playbook. Basically,
yeah, I don't think they're about civil rights, but I'll.
No, they're not.
Yeah,
they're not. But they're using the Club of Civil Rights so that whenever you draw attention to the fact that they're screaming out Muslim prayers,
yeah,
which is something I'm thinking, right now.
You're right.
If we were screaming the 23rd Psalm out every 5 hours or so, or what have you, liberals would be screaming all over the place.
Oh, please, you can't even post the 10 Commandments in the public square.
No, but see, to me, a lot of this is distraction, and the only way to stop what they're doing is what that gentleman did in Irvine, I think it was Irvine, California.
Right.
When he directly confronted them.
Right.
Confronted the gentleman about what he was saying.
Right.
Because that's the only way you're going to do it. But
well, how do you confront them if you're not let in?
I don't know how you're going to do that. I didn't realize that FAU had become so blatantly.
It's radicalized.
There's
no other way to say it.
I distinctly remember, CJ and Tom and Mark. This is around the 90s when this particular person would stand up in the pavilion, and he would, and I think he was in the process probably of helping to organize a lot of those unions and student organizations on campus, because they were not at that particular point in time really organized.
Right.
But I'm sure it was probably a spinoff from his efforts. But he used to stand in the pavilion for hours, and he used to talk about that issue. And he talked about how bad the Israelis were treating the Palestinians, and a lot of people would just walk by. They thought he was crazy. They thought he was kind of weird and all. But now it's I guess it's becoming a very forceful thing. It's becoming a very frightening thing. Because now freedom of speech is really threatened, and I just hate to see my old alma mater come to this. It's just awful.
Yeah, we're gonna look into it. I think we're gonna go over there afterwards. But stay tuned. We will.
Keep us informed, Tom, because I would be interested to know, because I hate to see a good school come to this, and it's just not right. It really isn't. It's awful when I think about it, because FAU was not like that.
We will absolutely do what we can, and we know we have a lot of people in Boca that think and feel exactly the way you do. So I think this is the beginning of a little bit of a problem for FAU. Stay tuned, but we got to let you go right now. And CJ, you got somebody else that wants to talk?
Thank you, Valanda. We have
Thanks,
Judah
Valanda.
on the line.
Yes, hello.
Hello, Judah.
Hear me?
Yes.
Regarding FAU, I just came from FAU, where I came there about 10 minutes to 5, and I was in front of the room where this SJP organization, Students for Justice in Palestine, were having speakers. And I gave out, it was just me, myself, and I, all alone, and I gave out some pamphlets to the students. And I was there about 1 minute when two big guys, they didn't surround me, but they were about 3 feet from me, and they kept standing there, and they said, we don't want, this is a student-sponsored event, we don't want any disruptions, to which I replied, well, I have no plan on disrupting anything, I just want to go in there and listen to the speaker, and then I can ask questions and challenge them. And they kept repeating, well, this is a student-sponsored event. We don't want any disruption.
That's baloney, man.
One guy is glaring at me. And I said, well, again, I repeat, I am not planning to disrupt the event. I'm just exercising my constitutional right to freedom of assembly and speech. And they kept on repeating that, and they were being intimidating. And I said,
well, who were they? Were they policemen? Who were they?
They're Muslim
kids. Two guys in ties, and they had badges on, and I don't know whether they were security. They wouldn't answer that question. I don't know whether they were with that group. They seem to be with the student union, or that's what I think.
Well, I got to tell you, because there's more events this week, Judah, and I would tell this to anybody who's thinking of planning on attending any of the events at FAU this week for Apartheid Week. Do not go by yourself. At least bring 1 or 2 people with you. Write down the names of anybody who confronts you.
I got their names.
If somebody,
I got their names.
Oh, good,
I got
good.
Their names.
Yeah, if you can email that
the last name was one guy.
No. Judah, just give me a second. If you can just email the names to Tom at TrentoVision.tv.
Hold on, I got to write this down, because I have his old email address from the Florida Security Council.
Yeah,
that's the old one.
Yeah.
Hey man, let me get this. Hold on 1 second. I got
Tom at TrentoVision.tv.
Yeah, it's not that hard.
Yeah,
Tom
we announce it all the time.
Tom at
TrentoVision.tv.
Gotcha.
Okay. And anybody who is confronting you, you have the second or the third person who's with you, get it on their iPhone.
Yeah, I wanted someone to come down there with a cell phone camera and get this, but there was nobody that was there. Just myself. I don't have a cell phone.
not a good safety thing for you to do that by yourself.
I'm not afraid of these people. I've been in worse situations, but I said to them, what is this, like the mafia here? You're not going to allow me in? They didn't say anything, but they just kept on glaring at me. So then I said, okay, I'm leaving. And that was it.
Okay. A lot of things going on.
We have a battle on our hands. One that I'm willing to pick up the challenge.
Okay, we'll take some soldiers with you next time.
All right.
All right. Thanks for calling in, Judah.
You guys be well.
Yeah.
Thanks, Judah.
Take care.
All right. Interesting. Very interesting.
Yeah, very interesting.
Yeah.
Very interesting. So
what do you want to do?
So what do you want to do, Tom? You want to leave early and go to school?
Well, you know what? I think we'll go 5 more minutes. That's a bit. We got to get over there for sure.
Yeah.
But I just got contacted on my Facebook page by somebody I worked with 30 years ago, and they're looking for me. And I'd love to. That's pretty cool. Get in touch with them. So I got to do that. This is, I think this is a developing story for our audience, our listeners.
I want to get in touch with Peter Feynman, too.
888-565-1470. You know who we need to get in touch with? Joe Sabag, who comes here all the time.
Right, Joe.
He works with the Zionist Organization of America. And these are the people that really, I know the Hillel groups and all that, they're useless. They're really useless on this stuff. But we need to find, if there's an attorney out there, a constitutional attorney, First Amendment attorney, and
I think we know one.
And you speak Latin, particularly the Latin words pro bono. If you know those words, then give us a call. You can call 888-565-1470. Leave your number or email me, tom@trentovision.tv. And because we're gonna pursue this, we're gonna absolutely make a case out of this. And here's what we do, folks. And this is our United West activity where we do the activism. We are fighting constantly for the free speech rights of all Americans. We don't mind. In fact, we love that the Jew-hating people, in many respects, are on the campus. Instead of hiding underground trying to do this stuff, they're out in the open. We love that because that's where we can confront it with the antiseptic of sunshine. Problem is, when we bring the sunshine there, then they shut that down, and they're used to doing that in their totalitarian regimes.
That's right.
We're out on the front lines, and we will confront that stuff. And this gets nasty when you go in there. There's 35, Muslims, most of them Muslim guys, and they're all heavily bearded, tough guys, and you got 3 or 4 little wimpy Jewish kids and 3 or 4 little wimpy Christian kids that just want to get their degrees and become doctors and lawyers and all of that. It's an unfair contest when you have, Islamic jihad against productive little kids. So we step in the middle of that, and we become the ones that do the ideological confrontation. And go to the United West, and you can see the videos. And we've had so many cops tell us you can't stay here.
Right.
And we say, sorry.
Yeah, show me the law.
Yeah, sorry. You're not above the law. You're an enforcer of the law.
Yeah.
We understand the law, in fact, and we pull the law out and show it to them. We've done that on college campuses. We've done that at the state capitol. We've done that on the street. That's what we do. And we need your help, though. If you could help support us, Tom, at TrentoVision.tv, because this takes a little bit of cash to do this thing. But we will fight these battles. We're very good at it. We never lose. And we don't know all the details yet, but we're going to get the information. And if this is a situation that needs to be pursued legally, we will pursue this legally for the sake of everybody's free speech on Florida Atlantic University. And guess what? At the end of the day, if the school gets hit with a massive discrimination case, they learn their lesson, and that's the way things change. Public policy changes. So
that's right.
We'll see. But you guys have a closing word. We're gonna close down a little early, 5 minutes early, so that we can get on over to Ground Zero.
Ground Zero, yeah.
Well, this should be interesting. This is once again, in your own backyard. In your own backyard. What else can I say? If you want to continue to be stuck on stupid, do nothing. Bury your head in the sand and just go home. If you want to take the country back, you got to step up and do something.
Yeah, because not just in your own backyard, it's in everyone else's backyard also.
Right.
It's all over the country. It's in California. It's in, places where there are no Jews and no Palestinians, okay? It's all over this country. It's on every single university and college campus on this country. It is not about free speech. It is not about human rights. It is about absolutely violent, virulent anti-Semitism, Jew hatred, publicly funded on our campuses in this country. Your children, your grandchildren are being indoctrinated with this garbage.
With the hating Jews.
With this garbage. And if you think that's not going to affect your society, you're out of your mind.
Okay, on that note, we are going to leave this secure, safe comfortable base of operation
Go hunt some jihadis.
and get to the front line and hunt down some jihadis. Okay, we're out of here until tomorrow.